Good evening, my fellow troglodytes, Neanderthals, and hairy knuckle dragon apes, everybody in the red pill manosphere, and to all the good faithful family. Welcome to the Good Faith Podcast, where we maneuver around toxic debauchery, attempting to find harmony with our fellow man and dissect society's caustic degeneracy. If it's a pre-apocalyptic dystopia that you seek, then look no further, because here it is. And welcome to October. It's going to be a spooky one. I'm your host, Ninja Bullock. We understand you could have been a million other places, and the time is the most precious commodity any of us have. So from the bottom of our hearts, we'd like to share our gratitude with you all. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. Due to the sensitive nature of some of our topics, we hope you will shield youngins from some of the vulgarity that may be spewed here. It must be noted that the views expressed by the panel are not necessarily the views of the Good Faith Podcast. We are no fiduciary. We assume no culpability of investment performance as a result of following our financial advice. And our simple aim is just to entertain and inform you. Anybody living in the greater Philadelphia area interested in making an appearance on the show can reach me in a DM on Facebook or Instagram at Christopher Bulick. See our Patreon link in the description if you'd like to make a campaign contribution to facilitate our meteoric rise.
Money, please.
Oh, no, there's no money.
Oh, my bad. No problem.
In all seriousness, times are tough. Any proceeds we receive will be going towards avoiding eviction, keeping the lights on, medicating Clark with all of his health concerns, and feeding our gracious guests. Once again, if you feel you've gotten any value by us, it takes basically zero extra work to like and subscribe. Guys, if this is your first time joining us, welcome, and please hit that subscribe button. It'll help us. Any views that we can get will help us. We're so close to being monetized. We're like 100 hours away from being monetized. So feel free to watch this on repeat and let me get that money.
Money, please.
Oh, no, there's no money.
Oh, my bad. No problem.
The Good Faith Podcast is now available not only on YouTube and Twitch, but Apple, Spotify, Patreon, Amazon, Samsung, Listen Notes, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and RSS.com. We'll keep pushing out these episodes so long as our following stays growing. And the path to notoriety will be for our listeners to spread the good word of the pod. If you have somebody in mind who would agree with our content, may be informed if they want to ridicule us, send a link to your friends and family. All publicity is good publicity. Our objective is to have a balance between the red and the blue. So if you have somebody in mind who enjoys listening to podcasts, please spread our channel. Now, the fragrance of the week is Versace Por Home. Top notes of lemon, neroli, bergamot, and rose de mai. Middle notes of hyacinth, cedar, clary sage, and geranium. Base notes of tonka bean, musk, and amber. And since it is now autumn, the candle of the week is Great Value Spiced Apple. So I got a bunch of these. Fall candles. I'm moving in a month, so I'm gonna have my place candled out. I'm gonna have like all the neon lights around my apartment. I'm going to have like big screen TVs and, whatever else I can do to make that shit like feng shui as fuck. Shirt of the week, Geometric. Slacks of the week, Club Room. Hat of the week, Baltimore Orioles. Tie of the week, John Ashford. Vest of the week, Club Room once again. Movie of the week is Nightmare on Elm Street. Director of the week is Wes Craven. And I'm going to be watching a bunch of horror movies all October so I can get into like a fall festive mood. And guys, you know what I say? I say look good, smell good, play good. You don't have to spend $1 million to look like $1 million. So at this time, let me bring on our guests. Hello, guests. How are you guys doing? So I'm welcoming Dillon back again. I'm welcoming Carlos back again. This is Andrew's first time on the podcast. At this time, could you guys introduce yourself by your name, age, occupation, and highest level of education completed?
My name is Andrew Leba. I'm 60 years old. My highest level of education is a degree in finance from New Mexico State. And I am a real estate developer. Been a developer for about 30 years.
And what are they, the Aggies? Or are they the Aggies? Or what's New Mexico State? Yeah, okay.
New Mexico State Aggies. Yeah, down south on the border, man. Yep.
Nice. Okay. And at this time, could you share your Instagram handle for anyone who's interested in following you?
It's Drew Leyba, Drewleyba.
All right. And Dillon, would you introduce yourself? Name, age, occupation, highest level of education completed?
Sure. What's going on, guys? Dillon Swain, bachelor's forensic science. Cool stuff there. And I am a 11 Bravo infantry in the Army. That's about it.
Nice.
Did you say how old you are?
28. Try to hide that shit.
28. All right. And what's your Instagram handle for anyone interested in following you?
Just my name, Dillon Swain. You should see it in the bottom left. Just spelled just like that. No tricky underscores or whatnot.
All right, I'll be adding these to the show notes for anyone interested. And Carlos, can I have your name, age, occupation, and highest level of education completed?
Sure. Carlos Ferreira, 44 years old. I have a bachelor's in communication arts, and I'm a general manager at a fitness facility.
Oh, nice. And did you say how old you are? If you guys
44.
44. Okay. And what's your Instagram handle for anyone interested in following you?
Carlos.e. I'll spell my last name Ferreira.
All right. So you and Dillon got the like fitness thing in common, and yeah, I'm trying to. I think all of these guys in here are like pretty fit dudes.
Clearly, I'm sorry, I forgot his name. The new guest,
Andrew.
Andrew, man, 60. He's obviously into fitness as well, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
No way, bro. No way. I thought you were 60.
Yeah, I always see Andrew. I always see you like hiking up mountains. Isn't like Albuquerque and Santa Fe actually higher than Denver in elevation?
Denver has higher peaks. But I like to hike here, and I think our highest peak, the one I do all the time, is Lake Peak. It's about 12,400 feet.
Oh wow!
So it's a good little hike and opens up the lungs, definitely. Yeah, do try to do that once a week.
Do you know what Santa Fe's elevation is above sea level? Because it's like more than a mile, right?
Yeah, it's 6,800 feet.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we sit about 6,800, so it definitely is a challenge to train here.
Yeah.
It's a good place to work out, guys. Yeah, for sure.
Well, here in New England, I've seen people at the gym with the high altitude masks to to create that same effect from over there.
Yeah, heck yeah, they help for sure. Yeah.
And I'll introduce myself. If you guys don't know, I'm Ninjah Bullock or Chris Bullock. My age is 34. My occupation is I'm a life skills coach, a podcaster, a value investor, e-commerce vendor, and like photographer and face painter for the Philadelphia Eagles. And my highest level of education is like a useless associate's degree in liberal arts. So
yeah.
Can you guys tell me what your spiritual denominations are before we get going here?
Mine's kind of. I was born a Catholic, but my church is Sunday in the Mountains, man. That's my church. Yeah.
Nature's a good deity is nature.
Heck yeah, it's just free there, man. Yeah, for sure.
And Dillon, I was watching your content with you got into the little like disagreement with the dude who was talking about how he didn't feel that you were like going with God because you were on the like grind for the money. I agree with you. Like it doesn't say anywhere in the Bible that money is the root of all evil. It says that the worshiping of money is the root of all evil. So like we all need money to get by, you know?
Big facts. What do you guys think? That was a pretty controversial post too. What do you guys think? So the root of the post was basically this dude told me, hey, I can't rock with you because I started talking about the money goals, and he didn't really understand. Got to make a lot of money to give a lot of money. So what do you guys think?
I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Say that
next weekend.
Can you
No, you know what I think is it's the lack of money that's the root of all evil.
Yeah.
And
Yes, I agree.
and you definitely have to make a lot of money, and in order to make a lot of money, you got to give some away. And the more you give away, the rules of reciprocity apply, and you receive more. It just piles in. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I would also add investing money in yourself, right? Well, ever since Ty Lopez book list, when I first started almost 10 years ago, investing in books and things like that, we have a tendency to sometimes look at like, oh, that's expensive, but we forget how valuable that's going to be, later on in life. All these little gems that we learn and we apply to, whether it's a profession, relationships, or just life in general.
Yep.
Word.
so Dillon, what I forget, what is your like religious
I'm a
denomination? Christian. Okay.
Yes, sir. Born a Christian. I haven't been in church in a long time, though. I'll tell you that.
And Carlos?
Well, I would say I was brought up as a Christian. I've at some point, I've kind of had, shifted towards different beliefs. In retrospect, the way that the world is now, a lot of things that we learned, especially like in MOA and other places, I kind of shift towards that, like not fully, but more of a, how can I say this, of a deity like hierarchy, you know what I mean? So I kind of, I would say that. I would say Christian at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that I am also a Christian, non-denominationally, and I think there are things from all religions that I can like get on board with. I'm gonna turn my mic down a little bit because it looks like it's peaking a little bit hard. And
Yeah, well, it was. You're good now, though. You just adjusted it, right?
That's better. Yeah. Okay. And what do I have any other introductory questions that I want to ask? And what is all you guys' relationship status? Is everyone here single?
Single.
Damn, man. You better take me on a date after this.
You're
I'm
investing
single.
a lot, right, Dillon?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So is everybody here? And why does it seem like? Sorry, I'm just like I was speaking with Andrew before the show, and I'm technologically illiterate, so I'm always trying to like get my shit to work. But basically, what's going to be happening today is we're going to be doing a debate, and last week I was the moderator of the debate. This week I said fuck it, I'll be a participant of the debate, and we can kind of just go. We kind of just go head to head on certain prompts, and people can, I'll assign a person who's gets to choose their position, and then we could just go riff for a little bit, and then as soon as we're done, we could talk about whatever. In current events, Donald Trump just like I'm not the most like worldly person, but what happened? The war in the Middle East is over now, right? So
I could.
What you mean
Hopefully.
the war in the Middle East is over?
I know it's like what is it, a ceasefire? Because like there was like, I know, a conditional ceasefire for a little bit. Now is it officially they're supposed to stop fighting or something? Like I think they like returned 20 hostages back to Hamas.
Yeah, it's a ceasefire, but you know, who knows over there, man? I mean, there's just turmoil. That's just the way they live, and I think it even says in the Bible that when there's no one left to fight, they fight each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully it stops. Hopefully Trump put it together and it stays together, but who knows, man? It'd be nice to have a little peace.
I thought it
Yeah.
was
Sure.
I thought it was interesting because in Boston we had protests against that. I guess when the ceasefire happened, people were protesting, which uh, which was interesting because for years the left and liberals, I have to say, as a former liberal, it was always against the wars, right? But it was interesting to see that after the ceasefire they were out protesting against it.
Yeah, that is. I don't know. That's haram.
Haram!
All right. So before we start, I'm just gonna give a quick. I'm just gonna give a quick advertisement, and then we can get into this. Let me turn my mic down just a tiny little bit more. I think that's right where I want it. All right. So guys, let's talk about the top dog in wealth advisory, and that's Joe Ventura at Eden Advisory Services. Joe's been in the investment business for over 40 years. That's 4 decades of helping everyday people, whether it be teachers, entrepreneurs, retirees, build their path to financial independence. Whether you've got 5,000 or 5 million, Joe and his team treat every client like a millionaire. Eden Advisory Services is a registered investment advisor headquartered in New York, but they work with clients across the country. They clear all investment transactions through Charles Schwab, a name that millions can trust. From basic budgeting and credit repair to comprehensive wealth management and estate planning, even financial, legal, and insurance strategies, Eden Advisory Services is your one-stop financial partner. Joe Ventura is more than an advisor. He's your financial guy. Hundreds of people have come to know and trust Joe Ventura's advice with millions of dollars under management. So if you're ready to take the next step, whether it's fixing your credit, planning for retirement, or leaving something behind for your loved ones, start with good faith and let Eden Advisory Services guide the way. Visit EdenASC.com to schedule your free consultation. Eden Advisory Services, LLC is a registered investment advisor in the state of New York. Registration does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Advisory services are only offered to clients or prospective clients where Eden Advisory Services, LLC and its representatives are properly licensed or exempt for licensure. All investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. This advertisement is for informational purposes only and does not constitute a recommendation or offer to buy or sell any securities. Would you like to continue on your financial path in good faith? Then contact Joe Ventura and Eden Advisory Services, investing in people, not just portfolios. And remember, folks, that money is not the root of all evil. Just being broke is the root of all evil, and just being money hungry and worshiping the dollar is the root of all evil. All right, so who does anybody particularly want to go first? All right. Then I'm gonna assign 2 people. So how about
What's our topic, bro?
Hi, Mom. Wait, I'm sorry. What was that?
No, that's funny. Tell mom I said hi.
Mom,
Yeah,
Dillon
tell
says
her we all
hi.
said hi. We all say hi, bro. Tell them all we all said hi, bro.
Tell her
Yeah.
we're having fun on this podcast.
Heck yeah.
What's our topic? Hit us with it.
Okay. All right. So our topic for the first debate is. All right. So this is a doozy. Homosexual family structures are inferior to heterosexual family structures. So, does anybody care to debate this? One person's going to have to be the homo advocate. I'm sorry.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't see that I can be an advocate for the family structure like that. That's going to be tough.
All right,
That's a
so
tough one. Yeah, that's
So-
a tough one.
I mean,
So-
we don't have to debate. I don't think we have. Maybe we don't have to debate it. Maybe we can discuss as far as I mean, the cons, right? Because it's gonna I mean, evolutionarily speaking, we were all, we all came a certain way, and now all of a sudden this change, which is in fact that's the social construct in a way, brings a lot of problems, right?
All right. Well, how about this? Since I'm gonna try and force people out of their comfort zone. I'll be the guinea pig on the first one. I'll try my best to advocate for a homosexual family structure. And Carlos, I'll give you 5 minutes. I'll give you 5 minutes or less to argue your case, and then I'll respond to you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Your time starts now.
All right. So as far as based on evolutionary psychology and that we've learned uh, when we see the way that families were brought up before, the way that the man is supposed to be the head, then you have the female, child, etc. Uh, I mean, I won't have much to say except for the fact of the confusion that can create in kids. I mean, we have biology and science, everything pointing one way, and then I would say,
Oh, did he freeze?
which
Oh no, so he's back.
no, no, which is obviously the kids. I mean, I don't have all I would have to say is just pretty much the confusion that it would create in bringing up a child. Um, I don't want to go too much into other things that most people will say in terms of like pedophilia and things like that. I don't want to, how like I said, I don't want to say, I don't want to, how can I say, assume that everyone that's homosexual would have would be like that. But there are also the cases in which that happened, right? Not to say that heterosexual couples, there's never been like child molestation, right? But in terms of a homosexual couple having a nuclear family, it's for me, it's pretty much try to fit a round circle into a square hole.
All right, is that the end of your argument?
That's the end, man.
Okay. All right, so I'll give myself 5 minutes. I doubt I'll be able to use up 5 minutes, but all right. So I'll start with the obvious problem that there's so much, so much orphanages and adoptions and child protective services and custodial arrangements that are not favorable for kids, especially ones that come out of heterosexual relationships where drug abuse might be present. So I think that homosexual couples offer a remedy for that, so that if there is a kid that comes from a broken home, oftentimes there are tons and tons of gays and lesbian couples that are willing to adopt a kid and give them their first actual opportunity at a home. And I think that it is, it's a blessing. It's a godsend when that's able to occur. So I would say that's one good way that gay couples are able to build a family structure. And as far as like other ways, I think, because I do agree that it is important for all kids to have like a mother figure and a father figure. I think that sometimes it's pretty difficult to debate that there are some lesbian women and some gay guys that are psychologically presenting as like the opposite sex. So I think that maybe they could get like a feminine dad and a masculine dad, or they could get a feminine mom and a masculine mom, and I think that is able to give them a nice balance of the two different gender roles that they should expect in life. And Yeah, other than that, I think that there are, to play devil's advocate right here, because I am obviously arguing against my own opinions, but I think there are a lot of more serious, more nefarious forces out there in the world that are driving against our happiness, and two gay guys getting married and adopting a child should not be our biggest fish to fry. There is our inflation of our fiat currency is making it impossible to do anything. The sex recession is making it so heterosexual couples are not procreating as it is, and there's religious warfare, spiritual warfare, geopolitical warfare going on all over the country that is making peace and prosperity very difficult to obtain. So if there are two well-intended gay people that want to get married and start a family, I think that it should be their prerogative if they want to, and I don't want to stand in the way of it. So that's my argument. Do you want to respond at all?
Well, so going back to the nuclear family, you know, outside of homosexual couples, let's say, let's talk about just single motherhood, right?
Hmm.
Which many other kids are boys, and just being raised by a single mom with the dad being completely out of the picture, that alone itself has generated so many men that not knowing, right, will have a tendency to kind of be more like the woman, right? And being brought up in this world, it's kind of seen as normal. You actually you don't learn that until you actually are an adult. And if you happen to run into the right people that are to tell you, be like, hey, look, you have these characteristics because you were raised by your mom. So shifting into a homosexual couple, I think that you having two people that are the same gender biologically, but have a mental social construct that one is the man is the woman, I think that only adds insult to injury, based on the psychological ramifications that we have seen on single motherhood.
Yeah, that is all right. So is that the end of your response?
Yeah.
All right, and then I'm gonna do one more response, and then we can call it. So I do like how you brought up single motherhood, because I do think that single motherhood is I think it's one of the biggest issues in the Western world. Like, I think single
Right.
motherhood contributes to, like, higher incarceration rates, higher chemical dependency, drug abuse, and poverty, lack of education. Single motherhood is a huge problem. I think that most single motherhood is actually coming, though, from a failed attempt at heterosexual family structures. I think that I know definitely, if you want to speak about gay guys have the lowest divorce rate of all family structures. So if we really wanted to, like, be mathematical about this, we could just, like, set everybody up with a bunch of with two gay dads, and the likelihood of them being raised by a single spouse is going to be at its lowest. We're actually, like, doubling the rates of single parenthood by introducing women into the equation. So that's my argument for homosexuality and family structures.
Yeah, no, that's well, I would say it's very interesting the statistics that you brought up about, because when we talk about gay people, we're also talk about lesbian couples, right? And as you said, you see gay men have a lower rate of divorce. And then when you go to women, lesbian couples, their divorce rate is actually just as high, because most divorces are initiated by women, right? 70 to 80%. On
Hmm.
top of that, the domestic violence is higher, right? So it's safe to say that, based on statistics and the violence, you know, uh, yeah, that especially for I would say for like a lesbian couple, it wouldn't be ideal.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do you guys think about that? Do you think it was a good debate? Do you think there was a clear winner or not?
think you guys did good. I mean, you said your opinions. You had to take an opinion you didn't agree with, so you did a good job battling through that.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
All right.
I
Anybody in the
love the
chat?
disclaimers towards the end. You're like, hey, by the way, halfway through, I don't agree with this, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep going. That was funny.
Guys in the chat, if you want to chime in and tell us what you think, if you thought there was a clear winner or not, and we can move on. So
I just wanted to clear something up only because this is such a touchy subject, right? So, I have gay friends, lesbian friends and all of that. And I want to say that outside of what we talk about nuclear family, many of these people, they're very competent and they add value to society. I work with, I have gay friends that are co-workers and they're super competent. Like, some of the people that sometimes like you can count on to get stuff done. So there's that aspect, right, of you understanding, not condemning, and okay, you want to live your lifestyle. It's just that when we go into a family dynamic, there's very specific guidelines that must be followed. There's been a process already to raise a good family. It's never going to be perfect, but like the most decent that you can. And these specific lifestyle, they come in and it makes it very much complicated, and it can create a lot of problems.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Now
can create a lot.
I'm gonna keep Carlos. I'm gonna keep you in the arena, and you're gonna go up against Dillon, and Dillon's gonna be able to choose which position he wants to defend. So
You said Carlos is staying in the arena.
yeah, it's Carlos versus you now.
I mean, it would be wise to get the other opinion at this point, Carlos.
Right.
I'm down to do it.
Let's go. Let's go. Okay.
Okay.
So you want me to flip?
What's up? Yeah,
You want me to flip now?
I'm just gonna it's gonna be a new debate prompt, and Dylan's gonna be
Okay.
able to choose which position he wants to take. So this debate
Oh, I
prompt,
see.
yeah, this debate prompt is that artificial intelligence is a greater threat to Western society and the American workforce than mass migration. So which side do you want to defend? That AI is a bigger threat, is a bigger existential threat, or mass migration is?
You asking me or Dylan?
So let's run that back. We've got the debate is existential. So AI is more harm to existential life than mass migration.
Yeah, there would be
Yeah.
less jobs. Would there be less jobs because of AI or because of mass migration? That's also a slam dunk. I'll let you pick.
So
Okay.
so you could either argue AI is a bigger existential threat, or mass migration is a bigger existential threat.
So I'll take AI as a bigger threat. as an
Okay,
opinion,
and
I'll debate it from that perspective.
all right, your time starts now. You got 5 minutes.
All right. Well, it's clear, so we're talking about existential crises and dangers. Well, we both know that mass migration and AI do have their own factors within existential dangers. However, it seems that AI could be more damaging to one's life, especially when it is mass produced and unregulated, which is what it is now. And people can use it for all sorts of means. So AI, the military uses AI, people use AI. ChatGPT is the most base level, and most people don't understand that. However, on an advanced level, it's so powerful. Imagine not looking at a commercial and nobody's real. Like these car commercials, sometimes they're actually not cars, they're just AI. the models for your clothing, for the food you eat. They're not people, they're just AI. So a lot of the times we'll see the data points on Google, but none of it is actually credibly backed. And when we have a society based off of machines advertising you, imagine what's behind the advertisement, what's making the product, machines. Okay. Well, now people can push products out. And here's the catch: these jobs that people were once having are now gone. So not only are the jobs behind the machines gone, but the jobs for the advertisements are gone. Imagine what would happen to your entertainment, the shows that you watch all night, 3 hours a night. Imagine what would happen. The actors are just actually not there. Their AI is there, their AI character. So you're watching AI movies now in 20 years. How dangerous is that? Where you don't have jobs, where you don't have an ability to make money and to compete. Because we're a competing species. So then the competition goes to who can actually be the person who can use AI the best. Well, only the people who have a lot of money can actually use AI the best, which is on an advanced level. So the separation from the two are just so clear. And it's just gonna keep on getting wider exponentially, not even gradually. It's exponential, this curve. It's astounding when you compare this to mass migration because there's a trend with mass migration that we can track. And not saying that it's not going to be an issue, that it's not an issue right now. However, something that pops up when you're not ready for it and it is expanding at a level that you can't handle. Meanwhile, we have this other problem that we have, like mass migration, that we have history of solving bits and pieces along the way. How do you counteract something you can't control? So when you have robots walking around and you have handicapped people walking on 2 feet and they're able to do the same things you can do, I mean, mass migration won't be a problem at that point because those people mass migrating, they could be handicapped and they could be using AI to take your place. So I think that it's going to be way more important for you to get a hold of technology and how to use technology because if not, you're just going to be at harm, and it's way more dangerous. I don't know if it should be stopped. I'm just saying it's more dangerous to existential survival. Therefore, one should learn how to use AI. Mass migration, you can't learn how to not mass migrate. And I'll end there.
All right. And Carlos, you have 5 minutes to respond, or less if you want. Your time starts now.
Well, I would have to say that for starters, mass migration would automatically. How can I say this? I mean, the more people that we get coming to America, especially people that are, you know, that didn't have anything where they came from, they're gonna be, they're gonna be super hungry. With it in itself is not necessarily a bad thing, but in the context of dangers to the workforce, it would happen. First of all, we would have a tremendous, even more of a bigger impact on our economy because mass migration, the jobs that they would be taking would be pretty much like the low end jobs, which in turn, there would be a lot of government assistance to be given out, right? Which in itself, as we've seen, like like welfare programs that have been in existence for decades, in reality, they have brought down, they have brought, how can I say this, a heavy load onto the economy, right? You brought up fiat currency, at the beginning. And what happens is the more that we have, the more money is going to be hemorrhaged into the economy to support migrant workers that don't that have a job but at the same time still need government assistance. Not being an expert on the subject, that's pretty much what I would have to say as far as
All right.
that.
Dillon, would you like 3 minutes to respond?
Sure, I don't like losing, so we'll go. Good job, Carlos. Keep it going.
All right.
No, go ahead.
Your time's going.
Oh shoot, sorry.
It's
Restart
all good.
that. Nah, I'm joking. All right. Well, so we talked about migration and people who are hungry. We're focusing on people who are hungry. I don't think I heard anything about the dangers. Hungry people aren't really dangerous, unless they really have a power behind them, have resources behind them to use with that malicious intent or better intent for their loved ones. Usually, the people who are migrating are trying to get away from some war-torn country or some country that's just managed horribly politically, and they can't even go out grab some food without being harassed by their own military or their police. Now, we're talking about military and police for a moment. Our own military uses AI. And with drones, the government already funds drones being put into battle spaces. Once we get autonomous, which we already are, but once we get fully autonomous, then that is an irreversible move. And that's key. It's irreversible. With migration, the dangers, it's cyclic and it's historical. It's always going to have its rise. Um, its stability. We can always deport people. Like there's ways to mitigate. However, you can't take off code from the internet. You can't mitigate that. Once it's there, it's irreversible. And as this keeps on improving, for lack of a better word, because AI self improves already, but as we improve AI and it self improves and it reaches that point where it cannot be improved anymore by human endeavor, it's just going to keep on improving on its own. It surpasses human intelligence. Mass migration does not surpass human intelligence, and anything that surpasses our intelligence is a danger to our living space because those who are in trouble of that intelligence will be the owners of the world. And mass migration, unfortunately, however you may call it, people running away from their countries that are war torn and trying to seek a safe haven. Well, there are other people who are trying to come over to this country and wreak havoc. Hence why we strengthen up our borders around Canada because that's the largest border where drug deals happen. Well, drug smuggling happens, and human trafficking alongside the south border, as well as immigrants coming over who are not necessarily trying to work, but they're trying to make a profit off of crime. So AI crime is way more unpredictable, and once it's done, it's irreversible and it's technically untraceable at this point. You can create some pseudo AI person and tell them to call people and scam them out. Mass migration, somebody trying to scam somebody, you hit that person up, you go raid their house with some ice, and they're gone. Their whole family's gone, deported. So there's actions to be taking place based off history, but we don't know what we can do with AI.
And time. Good job. All right, Carlos, would you like up to 3 minutes to respond?
Sure.
All right.
All right. So I would agree with Dylan. I think using, maybe I used the wrong term as far as hungry. You are right. Hungry people aren't dangerous. Um, I would have to say though, as far as the time for hungry people to come here and how can I say this and genuinely like work hard and become something that with the culture that we have today in the world, those times are pretty much gone. I feel that most people now that are coming here, especially knowing, that if you happen to have a baby here, there will be government assistance, etc. I think that's more so of the culture that we're seeing every day. You know, as far as AI, I do agree that it's irreversible. I would also say again, not being an expert on it, but knowing, as far as like computers, you would be able to change the program somehow. I think as far as AI goes.
All right. Well, thank you guys for having another civil debate. And Andrew, did you have any opinions on who won there? We're just doing this to have fun, not keeping score, being overly competitive, but
You know, it was a great debate. You guys both did really well. Um, it's hard to argue with Dylan. I mean, it's a little spooky the things that this guy's coming up with. I'd never even thought about uh, the commercials that are happening. I'd never even considered that. So, um, you know, I'd have to say that it was a good debate, and that Dylan won that. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I kind
actually,
of. I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
no, I agree with Dylan. Like, especially when he was saying, all the things about the commercials. Most of the commercials, a lot of the commercials I'm seeing right now, you can tell that it's AI. Like he said, like none of those people are real. So, arguing a point, in my mind, I had. That's why I let him pick because I would have picked AI.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that.
All right.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got
the
a
Eh,
hard
digital,
point of view, man.
yeah, not being able to change the digital footprint once it's there. Uh, I'd never even thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's going to be, yeah, and the rate that it's advancing at is
Great.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's scary about it is that we're not seeing it until it happens.
Hmm.
Back in the 90s, they used to have in days of hip hop and mixtapes, they had something called bubbling below the radar, meaning you had a real hot song, but it was fire and people knew about it, but it wasn't mainstream like other songs. And I think AI is bubbling below the radar. Like it's at a level right now that we're not even aware of, and like you said, exponentially growing, and we're not gonna know until it hits us right in the face.
oh. My guy Caden is talking about my favorite horror genre, period, which is fuck bots. So Caden asks, "Do you guys think that?" And Martin, I wanted to say thank you for tuning in. Caden, thank you for tuning in. But Caden wants to know, do you guys think that fuck bots will influence relationships? So just
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
They're already a thing. They're not
yeah,
a Caden.
absolutely.
They're not. I think Caden, you probably know this already. They're already a thing. It's being made, mass produced across the world. It's not just by one country, and they're getting shipped all across countries. And nobody's going to say they have an AI sex robot. That's wild to say. But it wouldn't be wild to say that in about 25 years when a girl meets a guy and she has an OnlyFans and he has a sex robot. It won't be new. So there are certain advancements that will just become normalized, and those who stand out will just become, either the odd man out or the odd man up. Because if they know how to use AI and they don't have a sex robot, just like a woman, if they don't have OnlyFans and they're intelligent, all right. But if they don't have an OnlyFans and have a bad personality and have no intelligence, it's like, damn, you're the odd one out. And if we're a dude who aren't calibrated with society at this point and we're just in the basement, just doing our thing in our private room, and then we just come back up to civilization, you're the odd man out. You're just gonna get weeded out, and your bloodline will just get ceased. Thank God. Too many people are having kids. Sorry, that's a whole new debate, dude.
It,
um
it, it's surreal because I don't know, Dylan. I don't know if you know. I think Chris, Andrew for sure. But you remember that show Weird Science?
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah, I
Two
not
do.
really
two
know.
nerdy kids. This is in the night. Two nerdy kids created this like beautiful woman, right? And we used to
Hmm.
watch that show. We'd be like, damn. And now we're seeing that thing slowly, slowly coming true.
Yep. Yep. They
For
made her in
sure.
a lab. They
Yeah,
designed her in a lab, and then
it's
she
called.
appeared,
Yeah,
and all the girls were treating them like shit until she showed up, and man, they've had a hot babe.
yeah.
And that was a cool one. Yeah, weird. I watched it like 10 times.
They did a good job with marketing.
Yeah.
They put blonde brown hair, like lady in red, and then marketing was just good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to ask this question every podcast because Rick, I swear I didn't even bring up fuck bots. It was Caden, but I love a good fuck bot.
Well, you'd ate her ass.
Better be
If
the
you
odd
got
man up, bro.
if you guys had a fuck bot, would you treat it with dignity and respect, or would you brutalize it because it's a little more fun that way? I'll start with you, Andrew.
No, fuck no, man. You have your fun, you stick it in the closet, that's it.
Okay, so you're not gonna slap it around and stuff.
I don't know, man. No, I'm back to work. Now you got to get it done and back to work, boys.
All right, Dylan, would you brutalize it?
We're talking about a sex robot. The robot's probably going to cost more than 10K. Definitely
Yeah.
more than 10K. It's not
Yeah.
just a TV. We're talking about an object that can stimulate you, potentially like replacing a human being. Like we had people on horses carrying people with carriages, and now we have cars. And imagine how much a car costs. Like MSRP on a Toyota is like 30K, 36K. So like, if you're spending that much money, bitch, I'm getting my money's worth. I'm going full Khal Drogo, Khaleesi, Game of Thrones. This ain't no peace.
Shit.
This ain't no peacetime. Nah. But I won't ever
Fuck
get.
yes, I want to talk business. What's the play? Let's fuck this thing right in the pussy.
All right, and Carlos.
No, I wouldn't brutalize it. If it started to act up, I would just do a trade-in.
Oh, okay.
Send it for maintenance.
All right, because not to get all existential, but I really do believe that there's going to be a large cohort of sexless men that cannot procure dates from American women. They're going to have, like 10K in the bank, and they're going to be like, you know what, I'm going to get the Sydney Sweeney 3000, and Sydney Sweeney's going to get a little too toothy one time, or, maybe like he's going to want a grilled cheese and she's going to burn the grilled cheese, and he's just going to put a frying pan upside Sydney Sweeney 3000's head. And he's going to do that too many times. He's going to act like Khal Drogo too many times. And there's just going to be something that snaps in that robot's consciousness. And she's just going to grab him by his feeble little meat limbs and just tear him apart. And then she's going to get a taste for murder. And she's going to go out in the neighborhood and Ned Flanders is going to catcall her. And she's just going to take Ned Flanders' neck and just pop it like a toothpaste cap, and she's just gonna go on a murdering spree, and that's how civilization as we know it is gonna end.
Dude, what a vivid explanation.
Yeah.
Think about it. It could
took
happen.
over. It could happen. Yeah, it could.
I do think it.
Settings AI has. Sorry, go ahead.
No. You go.
No, all right. I mean, the Chat GPT, you can give it its own character. So if you can give your sex robot its own character, theoretically, if you give it the character of a submissive woman, but also has emotion, you may raise an emotion that may harm you, and it may just do something.
Yeah.
BDSM, you can calibrate that shit to BDSM, and it just takes you out.
Imagine that. Like Chris turned up the volume too loud at the beginning. Imagine turn one of the settings. You're in danger. It's not your speakers getting blown out. It's your head getting blown off.
I don't want no pillow princess. I'm I'm jailbreaking my sex bot so that she's like a dominatrix, and she's like a little bit crazy, because crazy in the head, crazy in the bed. I want my sex robot to be unhinged. I don't want it to be a nice docile submissive sex bot,
Yeah. Gotta hide your knife, bro.
So
Get your balls off.
Before we go to this next topic, and we're speaking about sex, I'm just going to talk about other chemical sexual enhancements, and that would, of course, be my corporate sponsor, Mr. Nasty Time, guys. So if you want to feel like a fuckbot, it's time we talk about a pressing issue, and that is your duty to. That's your duty to perform, whether it's at the trading desk, on the gridiron, the hardwood court, or inside the illustrious bedroom. There's no description that does justice to the confidence boost you'll receive when you blow the socks off your lover. How are you going to do it? With a limp strand of rope? Do you want to be the safe option? Do you want to fuck her like a sex bot on setting 1 or 2? No, you want to be on level 10, bro. So, So how are you going to do it? Are you going to go to the battle in the bedroom with groggy privates? No, you don't want it to be like Donald Trump just told you there's a ceasefire. Like, you want to be a ferocious lover like Khal Drogo, you know? So get the enthusiasm that Jenny has for that gang of Black Panthers and Wall Street stockbrokers, not the tepid tolerance that she has for Forrest. Forget about overpriced hymns, Romans, and Blue Chews. It's Mr. Nasty Time as the real deal at an amazing price that won't let you down and can't be beat. And I know what you're probably thinking. What if she cancels on me and I'm all bricked up in my briefs all night long and I don't have a $10,000 sex bot? What am I going to do? Like, I've tried these things. They're a lot more mellow than you'd expect. Like, you're not going to be, you're not going to be at like full mast all night long. You could just pop one in the bathroom right before you go out for the night, and it's going to be, it's not going to give away your position. Or right before magic time, just chew one or two up, and it's going to be like, due to the quick acting effect, it's going to have you ready to perform right on the spot. Around here at the GFP, we're about leveling up, and why not level up your sex life and check out It's Mr. Nasty Time to get your mojo back. Scan the QR code on the screen or hit the link in the description and guarantee yourself unrivaled pleasure. When her dual mating strategy has her playing picky-choosy between the alpha man and the beta boy, you guys know exactly who to call. It's Mr. Nasty Time. All right, so now it is going to be... Oh, wait, let me put this thing away. There we go. All right, now it is going to be Andrew versus Dillon, and Andrew gets to choose which side he wants to debate. So the next prompt is... Oh, this one's kind of tough. All right. The prompt is, this country would be better off if run by La Cosa Nostra than by our tyrannical government.
Repeat that one, bro.
The America would be better off if ran by the mafia than by our tyrannical government. So you can choose either side that you want to. Andrew can.
So America would be better run by the mafia than a government party, political government party.
By our government party as it is
By
currently.
the United States government party.
Yeah.
As it is currently.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, that's a tough one.
You could choose
No
whichever
offense.
side you choose.
Okay, I'll stick with the government since.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll stay with the government. Okay, I'll represent the government. Yeah.
Your time is going now.
Okay, our government is a good government, and it it just has some problems, but it's pretty fair to the people. And obviously, we're the tip of the spear for war for the world because of the Federal Reserve System. But yeah, I think in America we have a good democracy. It's being straightened out now by a great president. And because of the democracy and President Trump, I think he's cleaning house all over the country. He's getting rid of a lot of bad people, and because of it, our country is going to be a better place and would be way better run in the future than the mafia could run it. So I'm all about the U.S. government, and yeah, that's it.
All right. Dylan, would you like to respond?
Man,
you have to advocate
you
for
didn't even
the
make it
mafia.
5 What? Sure? You don't want to do the whole 5 minutes?
He'll get an 3-minute opportunity to respond to your arguments too if he so
It's like
chooses
a wrestling
to.
match.
Yeah.
Long and then
Yeah.
short. Shoots. All right, man. All right, ready when you are.
Your time's going.
Oh, that's crazy. All
Wait,
right,
here, I'll restart it for you. All right, your time's going now. Now.
Yeah, all right. So I mean, like, crime. All right, so we got mafia instead of our current political government. Well, I'm not saying that like crime is good. We both know that the mafia is involved in crime. I'm not saying crime is good, but I'm saying that its structure and incentives produce a more effective result and decision making process and accountability than our current political systems do. And here's why. Uh, our mafia, so I not our mafia, not part of the mafia. So the mafia operates on pure incentive and accountability. When we look at our senators and our presidents and our representatives, they work on getting paid and they don't have accountability for their actions. So incentives and accountability is huge in the mafia. If a politician doesn't get elected, or if they say they're going to do something and they get elected and people don't like that person because they don't fulfill their promises, which always happens because they have to run through different places, different hoops to get things passed. If they don't get something passed, what they promise to the people doesn't occur. What happens to them when they don't fulfill their promises? They write a book. They make money.
Yeah.
Now, when a Don doesn't fulfill their promises, he fucking disappears. He's out.
He sleeps
So,
with the fishes.
so the key here is not morality because morality doesn't create profiting, flourishing societies. What does is effectiveness, and we've seen that with the Spartans. We've seen that with Japan and the samurai. How they had farms, and we've seen how they fought wars and had farms also. Turks and serfs, all that good stuff. So when we look back at our history, we do know that morality isn't the direct source of flourishing in a nation. However, off of accountability, when you have people in power who have to jump through hoops, what happens is they get blocked by red tape. And that's so unfortunate because there's so many things that we could be doing with our healthcare. In Europe, they have massive amounts of healthcare because they don't source their military gear. And they literally get it from us, which is why they're able to give all their money to healthcare. But recently we just stopped that. So now the people in Europe are struggling because they're struggling with healthcare and they're struggling with their damn military. Where us, we knew how to play the game. Well, imagine if the mafia was in charge. Not only will we play that game, but with decision making, jumping through hoops, just like how it happens with all other countries, we're at a higher level of effectiveness because we don't have to jump through hoops. We ask one person, hey, can we do this? No. Okay, cool. Oh, shoot, we made a mistake. Okay, we're fixing it now. That only takes hours at a meeting table. It doesn't take years for elections. And those debates happen between dons, and they don't leave until it's done. Just like how it happened with the Constitution being created. Nobody left that room until our founding fathers came up to an agreement and said, "Hey, we're not leaving this house until we get it done." They ran it mafia style, and you see how we ended up now. But we stopped that. So it's about effectiveness, not morality, and we've seen that in the past. And we should get back to it. How much time do I have? Like what, a minute? So
You got 1 minute, yeah.
so you can also argue like citizens would have no freedom. I mean, people have the illusion of freedom today, and that's key because being in the mafia, you don't really have freedom. You're protected and you do what you're told. But here in our political environment, we still do what we're told. We pay our taxes, or else we get everything taken from us. We don't kill, or else we get put to jail or get killed. Well, there's an illusion of freedom, so that's already ruled out. The mafia just takes control of the power structure, and they're transparent with it. The only difference is that our political government isn't transparent with it, but the mafia is. So which one's better? Transparency, accountability, effectiveness, or morality and feeling happy and being lied to, just living a dream and not getting told the dark stuff?
All right. That was a good
Wow.
argument.
That was
Andrew,
a good argument. Yep.
would you like to respond for 3 minutes?
I would. I would.
All right. Your
Now,
time starts
we know,
now.
We know the mafia lives by its code, and the code is to rule by, attrition, pretty much. We in our country, we've been blessed with for the most part, a real solid democracy uh, until COVID, really. I mean, it was, and I guess before that, it was a little corrupt. But because of the democracy we have, our Constitution, we're able to have rules, law, somewhat order. And like I said, we have a president now that's pretty much reconstructing our government. And I think our government was worse than the mafia, unfortunately, and has been. And under President Trump, he's taking care of that. He's weeding out the corrupt people from our government, but he's only able to do that because of the structure of our government and how it was set up, how our Constitution was set up. And it's in the faith of our Constitution and in the faith of our founders who created the Constitution that allow us to have hopes and dreams of our future. Um, Unlike the mafia, where they can just wipe out any part and take over. Um, in the United States of America, you cannot do that. You have to live by the Constitution, even though it's not fully disclosed or transparent. I think every day now it's becoming more transparent because of the person we have in power. And yeah, that's my argument. I believe in the Constitution of the United States of America for sure, absolutely.
All right. And
I
Dylan,
would
would
take
you?
It was
that.
that last
I'd
part that made the point. He was like, dude, I just believe in the Constitution, bro. It's powerful, dude. You're living it already. Try to argue it. That was
Um,
great. Good.
yeah.
you have 28 seconds if you want to add anything, but that's I think are you concluded?
I'm good.
All right. And Dylan, would you like a 3-minute rebuttal?
Yeah, bro. Let's do it.
All right, ready, go.
You brought up a good point about how thanks for giving me the grace to say, hey, like, I agree, the mafia, the government was worse than the mafia at one point, but Trump is bringing it around. I'll tag on to that one real quick. Not saying that that may be true or not true. However, Trump is still a president at the end of the day. His title is the president of the United States, and his job is to protect, to defend, to enable, to also be the voice of the people. Now, when you are in that position in this government, what happens is, in order to make change, one must go through something called bureaucracy, which we all know about. It's basically political debates until the majority says okay. But the thing is, our majority isn't in just one room. Our majority is across miles, 100,000 miles from each other. And they all just don't meet up on a Zoom call and just say, all right, we're going to talk about this for an hour. We're going to make a plan. No, they take years to enact something because it's on everybody else's time. And there's no accountability there. I don't want to harp too much on accountability again, but people don't get held accountable for making change. But also, there's no incentive for them to make that change and to make amendments to the Constitution or even make better available resources for our civilization unless there's an incentive for them, unless they get more power, unless they get more freedom of living, or guarantee that they're going to be in office for another term. Unfortunately, that's just how it is, and that's bureaucracy as a whole. So street level efficiency is different. The garbage is collected, right? Debts are settled, and protection is provided. With the government, it takes months and years to make these decisions. So the difference here is that the mafia runs on one code. You talked about a code, but we didn't define that code. It's not about loyalty and and transparency just by itself. The main part of the mafia code is results, not red tape. And exactly that is what we're living the opposite of. We're living in red tape. So unfortunately, if we talk about like corruptedness, the government is already corrupt and they're already corrupt. They kill people. They have sanctioned wars. The mafia just doesn't lie about it. They're just transparent with it. But they also offer you protection. They tell you how to avoid it. Our government doesn't tell you how to avoid it. So it's almost trapping its own citizens. So how do you fix that? Full transparency. And you can also argue that the mafia only serves itself. Hey, everything is for the Don, everything is for our family. Well, so does the government, to be honest, if you think about it. The only difference is that the mafia doesn't waste taxpayer money pretending it's for your benefit. They're going to tell you exactly what it's for.
And time. Good debate, guys.
Good debate, yeah.
I'll let my biases on that subject be clear right now, because I
not
do
for pro any of the opinions I have said today.
I'm pro mafia. Like everybody knows that Philadelphia is like a very like mafia friendly city. We always have been, and as far as like number one is. Like you were talking about morality, and actually I do believe that the mafia has better morals than the government. Like the mafia doesn't believe in using explosives. They don't believe in anything other than guns, because there's a lot of collateral damage. They are very they're very specific with who they choose to murder. You know, like our government will go into countries and kill tons of innocent civilians. The mafia, you know, if they want to kill somebody, they're only killing that person, and they don't believe in casualties of, you know, women and children. They also don't believe in bringing in, you know, narcotics and drugs into the community that will, you know, kill the citizens of the community. So I think that the mafia is more, and like Dillon said, more effective at bringing change, you know?
Yeah, what's interesting about it is we have a president who was able to buy real estate from the mafia and sell it to the US government.
Really? I didn't know that.
And yeah, he's got a lot of talent, that guy. He's put deals together like that. And yeah, so our president, you know, I like the guy, man, obviously. So yeah, but the mob stuff, I mean, it's hard, guys, because they do live by a code that is efficient for sure. And yeah, the red tape, and we got piles of it, you know.
All
Yeah, I
right.
mean,
All right. So on to the next one. Andrew, it's you versus me. And this time you get to choose. Wait, no, I get to choose. I get to choose which side I'm gonna go for. So the prompt for this one is. Oh man, this is gonna be tough on you. The prompt is that diversity of ethnicity, religion, and philosophy is America's greatest asset, and I definitely will agree here. So you're gonna have to inhabit the position of xenophobia, I guess I would say, or just homogeneous culture, and I'm gonna argue for diversity. So I'll start the time for myself, and I'll
okay.
say. All right, so America is a melting pot. It's a melting pot of religious freedom. It's a melting pot of cultural, ethnic diversity, and I think that it is the greatest asset that America has, because, well, we have all the best of the whole world. You know, you can go to the middle of New York City, and you could eat every single cuisine that there is on the planet. hear every single language that's spoken in anywhere that's not, besides remote villages in the Serengeti or in the Amazon rainforest. And when it comes to our skills, we have all the best athletes, we have all the best minds, all the best innovative inventors. Everything in America is just pushed at people excelling and doing their best in a free marketplace of ideas and thought. And I think that it is our diversity that propels us to be that way, because you could just look at the Olympics and see America, whether it's the Summer Olympics, whether it's the Winter Olympics, we're always a top 3 team in every single Olympics, because we have people from all over the place. I think we might have, there are certain countries that more of their people live in America than they do in their own country, because we just take people from all over the world and we take the best and the brightest, and they in turn make America a great nation. So that's my argument for why diversity is our greatest asset.
That's a tough one, man.
Yeah,
Gee.
this is tough. It's tough when you don't get to argue your opinion.
Right. Well, geez, I don't even know where to start with this. I would have to say that uh, if we had if we had less diversity in our country, we would. I can't argue this, man. That's like arguing. Yeah, I wouldn't even know what to say. I can't. Our country's great because of everything you just said. That's right. And um, you know, if we were of just one culture, and we didn't have the diversity, um, it'd be a lot harder to excel, but it would be possible. And I think that in that, we'd be more specialized. So, for example, if we were just a culture of Hispanic people, we would have uh, the best tacos that everybody would eat in the world
True,
or
true.
in our country, and it would, and they'd be the best tacos, and that'd be the best food. So, if we had just specific to Asian food or just Asians, we'd have the best Asian food in this country. And there would be no, it would be pure. So we'd have a pure, uh, we'd have a pure food. And I think that'd be, I don't know. I think it'd be boring, but that's my argument. I don't know what else to say about that, man. That's a tough one. I thought we were going to talk about the Federal Reserve.
We could talk about the Federal Reserve. We got plenty of time to talk about anything. So
Yeah.
I guess for the sake of my rebuttal, I'll try and, as a thought experiment, I'll try and play devil's advocate now. So
Yeah, help me out.
when it comes to homogenous nations, a lot of people tend to claim that they're superior. All the liberals are crying about how Scandinavia and Sweden and Norway and Denmark and Switzerland are so happy, and it's just a utopia there, because all there is just 5'10" snow bunnies walking around, blonde with big breasts, and they're all fit, and that is, and they have socialized healthcare and all, universal education and universal government programs, and everything is just so easy it's so easy for a bunch of people with identical philosophies, identical cultures, identical belief systems to just get along. Here in America, we have a lot of different colors, a lot of different cultures trying to get along. We're speaking a bunch of different languages. Have you ever been in America speaking to someone who's not speaking English? I mean, I'm unilingual. I can't speak any other language with proficiency. I could maybe speak half Spanish or like a third of Spanish. So as soon as I'm in America, my home nation, and someone starts speaking in another language, I'm like, do you know where you are? You're in America. Like, you better learn the language. So that definitely can cause a lot of disruption whenever there's multiculturalism in America, and you can kind of, it also brings a lot of racism. There's a lot of racism that exists in America, and while I might partake, I might enjoy some of it. It is definitely not perfect, and there can be a lot of violence that occurs from racism. So there's very little racism that occurs in a homogeneous society. So that's one thing that is working against diversity.
Okay. All right.
Do you care to respond? If you want, you can switch sides right now and start or we can move on.
Let's move on.
All right, Carlos, you're up.
I think Andrew has debated. I can kind of relate. Being 44, you've debated and argued enough in your life that when you at certain moments now, you're just kind of like you know what. You don't argue that much.
Yeah, well, I have an ex-wife. I have an ex-wife.
Dylan's rocket fuel. Dylan's got rocket fuel.
Yeah. It's just a tough one,
funny, bro.
That's a
tough
tough
one for me, bro. That's a tough one, man. Because I like the way it is. I like the
me
melting
too.
pot.
Well,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. I think it lies somewhere in the middle, right? So the world as a whole, the population has we've multiplied. To say we multiply, it's an understatement.
Mm-hmm.
And America once upon a time needed more and more immigrants, and I think that it's come to a point the way that the world is right now. It's sort of like, it sounds fucked up to say this, but it's kind of like we kind of have. I agree with the diversity, and we've had a lot of it, and it's awesome. It's just that it's not even about diversity or acceptance. Because of that, it's more about space and monitoring the. It's like you having a hotel that can house 1,000 people with certain, criteria, et cetera, certain requirements, and all of a sudden we want to house 10,000, and a lot of it doesn't meet. A lot of people don't meet the criteria for being here. I say that as an immigrant myself, which, I've at a certain point in my life, I kind of used to be like, oh, it's messed up, just let people in and whatever. But now looking at it from a broader perspective, most people, especially liberals, they'll hear this, they'll be like, oh, you're xenophobic, you're a bigot, whatever. But it's not that. It's like you said, Trump cleaning up house. It's like it's managing the establishment. Because it's overflowing. It's not, it's not like it was before. We have mistakes in a way.
Yeah, we can only help so many people. And we got to help the people from this country that are here first.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
And I've never been to Chicago. I've never been to Los Angeles, but I've been to New York City, and as soon as I spend 12 to 14 hours in New York City, that threshold just goes off in my brain, and I'm like, get me the fuck out of here. There's too many people. I sometimes there are certain parts of America where there's too many fucking people, and they need to do something to spread them out, you know, like and if all these people were coming here illegally and going to Wyoming and going to Montana and going to Alabama, it wouldn't be so bad. But they're all going to three metropolitan hubs, you know, and also I think you know, San Fran and Phoenix are pretty bad too. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and here where I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico, you guys, and so we're about 4 hours from the Mexican border, and it's very liberal here. And when you come here, like I was just in Vegas, for example, and in Vegas, there's not very many homeless people, and if there are, you don't really see them. But man, you come to Santa Fe, and there's just a shitload of them all the way up and down the main street, right when you come in. It is unbelievable. And it's that liberal mindset that's just like creating a space for them.
yep,
It's weird, man. I mean, it's just the weirdest thing. And so yeah. I mean, there needs to be a big time house cleaning in America, no doubt.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just out of control right now, and hopefully this president will get it done. You know, that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, overall, not just immigration, but just for everything, you know, as the name says, liberal, it just became too loose. And
Yeah.
humanity, we didn't thrive with loose rules. Like we thrive with structure, you know, and I think that, you know, because of so many ideologies which only sound good, you know, only generate good emotions, but when applied, it just becomes a disaster. You know,
Yeah.
I think it ties into the feeling culture. You know,
Right. Yep.
it's not, you know, unless you're a sociopath, but watching people, let's say, being deported and the kids going along, it's tough, right? But it become, if you do it for one, then you got to do it for everybody, and that's where just things come off the hinges. So being, and this is where, you know, this goes on to a different topic, but this is where, you know, men being leaders of society and having built the world and made the world safe. I'm not saying that there aren't men out there who haven't done evil things, if you want to call it, but men in general, because we've always been the one to bear the emotional, you know, to just put aside the emotional and go through with the reason and what works.
All right. Yeah. You know, guys, and one more thing. I know earlier we were talking about gay guys or gay people having children, adopting them. And the other day I was taking a walk down by the river. I'll just tell you guys a quick story. I'll make it quick. And so I'm down by the river and I run into this older woman. She's about 80 years old. She was a teacher in New York. She taught school for 30 years, retired from New York, moved here, and she's teaching now. She's like a caretaker now of little kids at the Garcia Street Club. And so she was telling me a story about two gay guys who adopted a little boy, and you know, they bring him in every day, and the little guy, you know, they don't know if the little guy's going to come in as a guy or a girl from day to day. And that's the kind of shit that's going on here where I live, man, that trips me out. You know what I mean? And I think there's a lot more of that happening than than should be. It shouldn't be happening at all. But she mentioned that, and I was like, you know, it just blew me away. You know?
And
So
and uh, and uh, and one thing that pisses me off is the people that come here, and the first thing that they do when they get into this country is they riot and they burn our flag and they spit on the ground and they disrespect this fucking country that they broke their backs to get into. Like,
that's
if
right, bro.
if you want to come here, I have always, yeah, for the most part, I've always been very tolerant of like immigration to America because I think that diversity is our greatest asset. But it seems like with all this spread of liberalism, especially in the like in the West, places like San Francisco and Los Angeles.
East Coast too, man. Massachusetts is full. It's blue. Blue
Yeah,
as it gets. New
yeah,
York too.
yeah. New York, and I know Baltimore is like horrible. Baltimore is like a shithole, and it seems like almost every liberal city is just like you said, overrun with homeless encampments and drug abuse and just homelessness and drug abuse and don't even get me started about the transgenderism. Like allowing children to pick what gender they are that day. I think it's very harmful to the development of a young child. But
Yeah, I think,
Yeah,
I think
man.
when we touch on transgender, it definitely goes into a realm, at least from my perspective, it goes into a realm of mental illness based on the
yep.
description, right?
hmm
Uh, as far as, like I said, I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist, but when you think of schizophrenia or any of these mental illness that people think that something is going on, but it's not happening, I think it goes into that. We have to really take a step back and consider that before going in head first and saying, "Oh no, just give the rights and let people live how they want to live."
Yeah. All right. So real quick before we get into this next one, I'm gonna do another advertisement. So this is the last one, and then we can get along with this. Where is it though? Where's my script? All right, guys. I don't think it's any mystery that I take my physique seriously. So do all the members on this panel. We're all very fitness conscious. We believe in putting things into our body that are going to give us a good output. And so you can't just be stuffing a bunch of empty calories into your big... yeah, it's jerky time. I'm taking it more seriously than I ever have before. I started measuring I'm measuring my body fat percentage every single week, and it's like I'm losing like 0.5% to almost a whole percent of body fat percentage per week. I'm getting into meal prepping, boiled chicken and rice, working on muscles in my body I never prioritized before. I'm prioritizing balance and everything harmful that was in my diet, I'm cutting out. No more breaded chicken. I'm only eating pizza like once a week. I know I should not be eating pizza, but it's so good. You're never gonna get me to completely cut out pizza. And fried chicken is a serious battle. I love fried chicken and pizza. I'm focused on fat burn. Incline treadmills, stairmasters, doing all that kind of stuff. The seated row, lat pull downs, all that stuff. And I used to just eat whatever I craved, try to outwork a poor diet. That's not how it works. You need to balance diet and exercise. And now I'm putting those two in harmony, and I'm noticing, slow, gradual results. There are still times when I have to force myself to eat, but I need no coercion to munch on Holler Boys. You can't just stuff, like I said, you can't just stuff empty calories down your big fat fucking gullet. Here's the solution. It's Holler Boys beef jerky. They pack 10 grams of lean protein into a fantastic package, and the flavors are they're to die for. Peach bourbon, honey habanero, southern barbecue, Chesapeake Fuego, or the tried and true original. My personal favorite is peach bourbon. And what's even better about Holler Boys is they're nice and local in tax-friendly Middletown, Delaware. They're founded by a father-son duo who just started tinkering with their backyard smoker, and through trial and failure have come to present some of the boldest and most memorable flavors that I can recall. Forget Slim Jim or Jack Links or Deets Nuts. Holler Boys Snacks packs a great nutritional value in a filling serving size for an affordable price to stretch your dollar with flavor for days that'll make you holler. Their mission statement rings true to the Good Faith Podcast that life may throw you around, but you can never give up. How true. Yo, what's up? What's up, Aaron? Their mission statement rings true to the Good Faith Podcast that life may throw you around, but you can never give up. How true? Scan the QR code on the screen and find their link in the description and tap into the best beef jerky on the market. HollerBoysJerky.com. That's holler with an A. Holler Boys Jerky, the only good jerk. All right, let me get this off the screen and go back. All right, Carlos, it is your turn to pick the top, or it's your turn to pick the position. So the prompt is, wait, let me get it. The prompt is that the right to bear arms should never be infringed upon. Do you want to agree with that, or do you want to disagree with that?
I'll agree.
Okay, you got 5 minutes starting now.
All right. Well, I will say that despite the fact that nowadays we have police, we have the army that protects us, um, having the right to own a gun will still will still have you, what do you call it, will still help you save, protect yourself and your family. um, for example, in the case of a break-in, you may not always have time to call the police. You would potentially defend yourself first, and then call the authorities. I think also, not so much not so much in a tyrannical way, but I know that the right to bear arms was created in case the government turned on its people, right? And when we say government, we first think of the president, but especially in the United States, we having our own government in each state, being somewhat unique, the right to bear arms could potentially help protect yourself in a more, I don't know, liberal state, right? Nowadays, we're seeing that the liberal culture has become very very entitled, very uh, just just feeling like they deserve everything, yelling peace and saying that they're against war, but at the same time causing riots, right? As well as other people, as well as criminals having more access to guns. It's so easy to get a gun on the street that has a serial code scratch that's not registered. And of course, you could take that route yourself, but if you want to be a law-abiding citizen, be having the right to bear arms puts you in a place where of integrity, that you can defend yourself, and um, pretty much, I don't know, just feel safer. In addition to that, the right to bear arms is also a recreation, right? I don't have my gun license yet, which I should have gotten it, but I still go, after learning how to shoot a little bit, I still go to the shooting range. Although you don't need your license to, but I believe that the right to bear arms, if that gets taken away, shooting ranges and things of that nature may eventually be affected, right? Now, having said that, I do believe that there also needs to be somewhat of a limited. Um, they need to mitigate the LTCs, especially with mental illness being so rampant in America, being so common. Believing in the right to bear arms, like I said, there needs to be a mitigation where we do, where we continue to do back. I don't know how much of that we do, but where we continue to do background checks multiple times, in different ways or whatever, medical history, and possibly maybe even like evaluations if they don't have that already. For example, after so many years with your LTC, you got to go in for a mental evaluation maybe, in order to just like renew it, not necessarily do the whole test, right? But overall, I do believe that being a responsible gun owner will make you and your family safer.
All right. Um, and I'll start my rebuttal. So, you brought up mental illness, and it was right after we talked about transgenderism being a mental illness. And for the record, I do agree that the right to bear arms should not be infringed upon. But in the interest of going against it, I will say that forcing a person to be background checked in order to carry a firearm would kind of be an infringement upon that right to bear arms. And I do think, and I do agree that transgenderism is a mental illness. So I could see in a very real way there could be a slippery slope between us just barring. Are we going to bar all people who suffer from transgenderism, or all people who suffer from body dysmorphia or body dysphoria or all that stuff? Are we going to ban them from owning firearms? That could really be I could see it being a really slippery slope. And then what about people who suffer from just little things like anxiety disorders or depression? Anybody with a medical cannabis card could then be barred from owning a firearm. Maybe it could even get as far as anybody who has ADHD, hyperactivity. The list of mental illnesses can be very expansive if it were to go unchecked, if the government were to start seizing firearms from anybody who didn't meet their standard of what they thought was mentally fit. So I would say that. I'm trying to. But I'm supposed to be arguing about how the right should not be infringed upon.
Yeah, it's hard, man.
But yes, but why it should be infringed upon. Well, I guess I'll just talk about Charlie Kirk. I think there are some people on this earth who I don't feel comfortable with owning a gun. If one furry kid in a bunny costume thinks that Charlie Kirk is like a hateful bigot, and he gets a hold of his granddad's war rifle and goes up onto a rooftop and shoots Charlie Kirk, or they think that Donald Trump is a fascist or a Nazi, and they want to go up onto a rooftop with a sniper rifle and take Donald Trump's ear off. That's not safe. That's not good for our population. So I think there should be some safeguards put in place to make sure that the nut jobs are not wielding firearms. And I think, and we could even talk about like criminality. There are certain rights that are infringed upon if you make mistakes. If you rob 5 liquor stores and you get incarcerated, when you get out, you're not able to vote. You shouldn't be able to own a gun. If you abuse your wife 50 nights in a year, I'm pretty sure that you are not allowed to own a gun. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think certain unhinged individuals in society should be able to own guns because they are a danger to the rest of us. So I think that certain people should be infringed from owning firearms. And do you want to respond?
Well, I mean, you kind of gave me some more ammunition for my argument.
All right, go with it. Go with it.
So I wouldn't say all mental illnesses, but I would say the ones that are more likely to commit violent crimes. In addition to that, outside of mental illness, anyone who has had a violent criminal past, right? Maybe not bar him from owning a gun, but there should be like a more thorough process. Sort of like, let's say, for example, if a person is in jail and there's always parole, right? Well, not always, but in a lot of cases there's parole, and if they meet a particular requirement, they can potentially get parole, be let out. So, do things of that nature with people with a criminal record. That way, their rights are not infringed upon. But at the same time, to completely bar that, and we're not allowed to own guns, that would be taking away one of the rights from the Constitution, right, in which the country was built upon.
Okay, and I'll form a. I guess I don't have much more to say. I guess I'll just say, hey, Kate, thank you for joining the Good Faith Podcast. I hope little Jaden is, growing up to be a big, strong young man. And say hi to Devin. Say hi to Easton. We're talking about guns right now. I know you guys are a household that owns probably, I don't know, at least 5 firearms, if I had to take a guess. To sum it up, I do believe that look, she says way more than 5.
Nice.
I forget what the number is in America, but I think I could be wrong, but I think there's something like enough firearms in America to arm every like man, woman, or child, or probably close to that. So it's kind of funny. And when I hear people talking about civil war, like one side would stand a chance if there was actually to be civil war. The red side of the civil war would destroy the blue side. So, but
I think it's funny when people mention that. They always go back, to a couple centuries back, but they forget about the military now. People completely dismiss the National Guard, the military. Like when people think of a civil war, you have to consider that they're going to step in first. Like, are people going to be able to take them out to then have the civil war?
Yeah, yeah. People don't think about that. That's for sure. You're right.
Okay, so on to the next topic, which is going to be between Carlos and Dillon. And Dillon, Dillon gets to choose his side. So, all right, this one, all right. The prompt is women are best suited for the home, we'll say. I'll put it in polite language. So women's best role in society is in a domestic capacity. So Dillon, which side do you want to argue? Oh, I think you're muted. Are you muted? Oh, did your mic die?
Crazy. Mic died.
There we go.
DJIs, man. They just got 2 hours of life and that's it. Interesting, man. How about Carlos? Which one are you? I'm happy to be devil's advocate for Carlos. I like fucking with him.
Carlos, would you agree with that prompt? That women are best suited in a domestic role?
This
I would say yes.
Okay, all right. Then
Yeah,
Dillon,
yes.
Dillon, you are advocating that women belong in an egalitarian role.
Dude, you know what's crazy? I had a conversation with the dude about this, and he said, this is the same video that you saw about the money that we all talked about in the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah.
And I told him, hey, I think women, as a dude, all I care about is good personality and beauty. If you got money, great. But all I need is a good personality. We can mold through that. And he was just like, yeah, but, and then he had his voices of opinions. I don't hate him for it. I just feel sad for the dude because he has that misconception that the woman should be able to work,
Mm-hmm.
not take care of the kids at all, be outside the house. I'm just like, dude, what's gonna happen when she makes more money than you? What's gonna happen when she meets another dude who's doing better than you are in life? You're gonna tell me she's not going to be like, well, why am I still here? Love? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Not when she got to deal with your belly hanging over your mushroom tip on top of all the other bullshit. Come on, bro. Nah, dog. All right, my bad. So yeah, I'll go for the ladies. They're gonna love this one. I'll tell you that for sure. All right, so the debate is women are best in the home for society. That's the debate,
Or not.
right?
Yeah, you're
Or they're best having a career, right?
your
Carlos.
position.
Can you hear
You're
Carlos's mic? Is that
Yeah,
me or is that him?
yeah, Carlos. You're a little bit muffled.
Is this better?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Cool.
Here, I'll restart. Dylan, I'll restart your time. You got
always
five.
do this. You start
Can
my
I
time,
can I just
talk
have
about
can I just have a
girls.
1 minute break real quick?
Yeah, yeah.
I got all right.
He's gonna go plan this out, man. That's great, dude. Hey, where are you getting these topics from? They're
I just all right. So here's the thing: is like Kai gave me the idea to start hosting debates, and I wanted to what I would love would be to invite people from both sides who are able to adamantly debate their opinion, but my following, my friendships, a lot of the people that I interact with are right wing conservatives. So what are we gonna like? Are we gonna like debate in our echo chamber? So I thought that it would be better to kind of have some people debating for their opinion and some people. I thought it would be better to have some people debating for their opinion and some people debating against their own opinion because. Yeah. A liberal with thick skin, that's an oxymoron, Rick. There's no such thing as a thick-skinned liberal. They get offended if you do anything. If you call them by the wrong they, them, zim, zers pronoun, they're going to blow their lid. So, yeah, that's exactly it.
Is it 1 day or
Yeah.
many days? Is my mic still okay?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You said what? Is it 1 day or many days for what?
Yeah, that was a Dave Chappelle one.
Oh shoot, Dave Chappelle.
So you
Hell
want to
yeah.
go first? Go ahead.
Dylan's up first to advocate for women having an egalitarian role in the wild out there.
All right, tell me when my timer starts. Timer started?
Yes.
Of course it did. All right. I like pushing back time. It makes me, get it out more. All right, so listen, a healthy society doesn't thrive on confining half its population in one role, So I'm not saying I'm against homemaking. I'm not saying that I'm against women being in homes and building up their kids, being attentive to their kids, being attentive to their husband, and being resourceful as another partner, not just because they're a woman, as a partner in a relationship. I'm not against homemaking at all. What I am against is limiting women to that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And my argument here is that, there's against biology and stability, against the biology of a man and a woman, and against the stability of a man and a woman in an interpersonal relationship. I'm talking on the logic, the data, and the moral principle of it all. Now, when we talk about the traditional points of stability in biology, we have, let's say, men and women in the workforce. Men go work, women stay at home. We both understand those norms. We live it. So I'm not against that. However, limiting them to that means that we would limit uh, potential. And here's what I mean by potential. It's almost like energy potential. I don't know if you know this, but during the workforce in World War II, I think you may know this. During the World War II, we've had about two, three wars. Now, actually, four really huge wars. Two of them were world wars. The third one, Korean and Vietnam War, was sort of not world warish, but almost was there. And then we had the war on terrorism. I bring these up because who was our workforce when all our men were out fighting? They were women. So if we told them to stay home, who would make our clothes? Who would make clothes for the soldiers? Who would make MREs and food for the soldiers? Who would give cards out to the soldiers? Who would go out and start charities for these soldiers to keep on fighting so that they didn't feel alone and abandoned? Even though we didn't even help them afterwards because we told veterans to go fuck off. But we started fixing that after 2015. However, who kept it down? Who held it down? The women. So with that being said, I don't want to say that yeah, women should be, only home caregivers. No, like that's limiting them to what they're able to do for society, and history already proves that. Therefore, if we're going to be effective human beings, we might as well fall onto historical trends and data points. And what it seems to be is that it's effective when we have women in the workforce, not being limited to stay at home. So here's the line for that. Society that sidelines half of its talent can call itself it cannot call itself efficient at this point. And we've already seen that in multiple civilizations. Just like what's it called? China. When they started killing off their women and telling everybody, hey, you don't have a woman, or killing off their babies, like they sidelined. And then they fixed that. There's a reason for that. That's just a more drastic issue, but the home is not a choice. It is a choice. It's not a destiny at the end of the day. Women being at home, you're in a relationship, you're with another man. It's a choice, man. They choose. You're not going to force yourself into a relationship with a woman, I'm sure, if she has all her lines crossed, I's crossed, I's dotted, T's crossed. And a woman's not going to rock with you if it's not the same for you. Well, no one told you that you had to be in a home. You can literally have a girlfriend and not live together. But if you guys are now codependent on each other, it's now also her choice to define what being in that relationship means. And without that ability for her to define, there's now a hierarchy of relationships. Hey, I am better than you. But if you're going to say you're equal, then how are you better than her? Yes, like we're stronger. We have 4 times more testosterone than a woman. But proven by history, they helped us win wars by working. Proven by history, when we have women who we keep on the same timeline as us. Ooh, the light came off. Sorry about that. If we have, yeah, the light died, man. If we have women who are allowed, not allowed, but encouraged by their fellow spouse to say, hey, you know what? You have a specialty. Go pursue that. Our household is going to be more economically stable instead of relying on just one man and with all the hardship that comes on with being a man already. And the natural role that I'm referring to is that cultural myth that needs to change.
And time.
Damn, bro, I should have started earlier.
All right, Carlos, you have 5 minutes to respond.
Oh, all right. So, all right. Why? So pretty much why women should have their roles, correct? That's the, okay. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna go back to prior to the sexual revolution. I do, I'm not dismissing what Dillon said as far as, when the World War broke out, it was women in the workforce and things like that. And I wouldn't say that women wouldn't, how can I say this, that women are not to have any rights at all, not to work, because up until that time, when men were pretty much in charge, we had more families. Divorce was pretty much like it was low. It was not nowhere near as high as today. There were less abortions. There were no kids out of wedlock. As a, so what I'm trying to say, everything pretty much there was more order, right? And the nuclear family still existed. So to argue this point, I'm gonna go to like post-sexual revolution, which pretty much that women gain the right to birth control, the same rights, the free love and all of that. And eventually, what that did was when we look back at society, not to go into religion too much, but whether it's Christianity or Islam, things like that, even though they didn't have this information that we have today about psychology, about evolutionary psychology, they knew something that the man being the leader and also having discipline, but also having the guardrails for women, that kept society going. That's not to say that there weren't horrible men like well, Genghis Khan is kind of a horrible man, but kind of a guy that you look and you say, damn, the guy accomplished a lot, right? But not to say that there weren't men like that who took advantage and killed women, but after the sexual revolution, pretty much like the guardrails for hypergamy were completely removed. Um, Women demanded more, and men complied, gave more. So the results that we see today is that we've been giving more and more, and it's only been taken. You know, Prior to the sexual revolution, if there happened, women weren't oppressed like they say they were, because even prior to that, if they were single, they could still have jobs, they could still own homes. It was only when they got married that those things became her husband's because she became a Mrs., right? So then now, while that was happening, as I said, the families were more intact. There weren't any abortion. There weren't any kids out of wedlock. But once the sexual revolution happened, then that's when it started. So then there was a big shift. Now, if the woman divorced, she would have all the rights, right? Um, she was granted rights to birth control. What do we start to see? We start to see more abortions. We start to see more kids out of a wedlock. The society slowly graduated into the feelings culture that we have today. All we need is love, this, that, and the third, right? Which the United States was not built on that. And as we noticed, time went by, more things were given, more and more rights. With the sexual revolution, eventually pornography became legal, because prior to that was illegal, but only after it became illegal. And now today, we have OnlyFans, we have all these rights and things like that for women, which have been taken to the next level. Pretty much, sort of, we see that it's destroying society. I mean, even women themselves are complaining about the problem, but just not taking accountability to see, like, oh, okay, feminism is what kind of brought all these ideologies that's creating massive confusion and being detrimental to society. I would say that overall, to end my point would be that not that we completely, obliterate not giving them a choice, but like, hey, you want if they want to work or not, but to pretty much go back to sort of like men having more of the control, because prior to that being given to women, a lot of the things that we see in society today, again, all right.
And time. You'll get 3 minutes to respond if you choose. Dillon, are you ready to? Do you want to make a response?
Sure.
All right. Your time starts in 3, 2, 1. Now you got 3 minutes.
Love the countdown. All right. So we spoke about. I'm not. I want to combine our topics real quick. Women being homebound is the debate here. Well, you mentioned something that has to do with abortion. I don't really think that has anything to do with a woman staying at home. However, that may apply to a different topic. So I'm not going to disagree or agree with anything there. However, I just want to point out that it's wise to understand that when a woman gets limited in her opportunity to perform, not her, it's not just her who suffers. It's actually all of us who suffer. And a clear example of that is, we've had women stand up and we can talk about women's rights. Cool. But let's get past women's rights and let's get past something that involves you and I combined. Radiology, x-rays, nuclear war. Well, they use elements on the periodic table. And there's a scientist, her name was Marie Curie. She was a scientist that founded, I think it was polonium and radium. I believe it's radium. And she won a Nobel Prize for it. If it wasn't for her, we would not have radium as an element. We would never know about it. If we didn't have Margaret Thatcher, the UK would probably have not done well during the Cold War. Margaret Thatcher was the UK's first prime minister, female prime minister, and she has the longest reign as a prime minister in the UK. She's a woman. If she got told to stay at home, what would happen in the UK in the Cold War? She actually lowered inflation. She privatized industries, and what she did for the UK was she put them on the map during the Cold War and helped them stand tall instead of crumbling. So we have women like her. So if we micromanaged her life, how bad could the UK have turned out? We don't know, but we know what happened when we didn't. So if we work on logic, well, if we don't hold them back and women are helpful to our lives, trade, commerce, then why even start holding them back? Why even show entertainment towards that topic? So again, I'm not saying that I'm against homemaking. I love that idea. However, we shouldn't limit women to just that one thing. We should allow them to, not allow, we should encourage them to define what that means in their relationship. Mm-hmm. If not, we're all going to suffer because it's not just them.
And time. You had 3 seconds to spare. And this also brings up like a piece of, before I let Carlos go into this, maybe this will give Carlos some ammunition, but it brings up a story that's happening in the media right now, which is, are you guys all familiar with the Ayesha Curry story?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, for anyone who's not knowledgeable, hey, Kat, thank you so much for joining. I think this is the first time you've ever chatted in while we're live. I know you're a big fan of the podcast, so thank you for your support. It means a lot to me. Basically, if anyone's if anyone doesn't know what's going on with Ayesha Curry, she went on the Call Her Daddy podcast and she basically lamented about how she's sick of being like trapped in this marriage to Steph Curry, the most prolific shooter in basketball history. And she's talking about how she misses getting all that extra attention from other males, and she doesn't like that Steph Curry is this international sex symbol and that he's getting all this attention from other females, and she just kind of yearns for the sexy single life of a girl. Keep in mind she's a 5 at best, and she's married to the most like I said, the most prolific basketball player since maybe since Kobe and Jordan, and she basically slapped Steph Curry in the face on a national podcast that's going to be on the internet for all of eternity, and disgraced her 4 children that she has, saying that she feels trapped. And that's what happened. I think that what she did was shameful and disgraceful, And you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't be married happily to... All right, Carlos.
Well, so I would say that for the sake of, I guess, for the sake of nuclear family, um, things being at the end of the day, right now we're starting to see that women have pursued their career throughout their youth, and then after a certain age, now they're becoming extremely unhappy because they pretty much is it outdated themselves out of the sexual marketplace, correct? So, and then eventually the blame is being placed on men. I think so. I think that's one of the things. Like I said, not necessarily limit, but I think that's one of the things that I see the most impact. Like you said, Aisha Curry, married to this multi-millionaire. After having kids, now some of the kids they're not fully grown, but some of the kids are. They, and now she's saying that she didn't really want that, that she really wanted a career, which obviously it's kind of like a buyer's remorse because I'm willing to put money on it. If it was the other way around, she would have been. If that's the type of person who she is, if she had had a career and had no kids and was not married to this man, she would be complaining how she can't find one.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the right now, just about every woman that you meet that's been like divorced, that has had a career, they still want a man, but they have put themselves out because hypergamy is like you either date across or up. There's no
Mm-hmm.
dating down.
Yeah.
And I mean, it has been great for some women because I do believe that there are a lot of women out there that they truly like didn't want or feel like they need a man and they are happy. But the majority are not. I think, the majority with this whole thing, it came like being okay for the whole phase. Women having multiple kids by multiple men has become a badge of honor, things of that nature. So I think when you say should she be confined to a role at home, that phrase does sound like misogynistic. But when you unpack it and you look at it from the broader perspective, you see the ramifications of not being that way. How they are unhappy themselves and yet calling men trash. When men are running society, right? The infrastructure. So, for if there's one reason only, that would be it. That I think that the way that it was before was more orderly.
All right, and that is your time, and this debate is over. I'll just add my little 2 cents in here. Yeah, with Aisha Curry specifically, she's like a gold panner that goes down to the river during the gold rush, digs out this 5-pound golden nugget, and then complains to the other gold miners like, "Oh, I like platinum better." You got the winning ticket. You got the golden ticket, like Charlie Buckets here. Don't wait. Yeah. And yeah, so and I think they polled most American women, and about 80% of American women said that they would be okay with the soft life phenomenon, which is where a man financially covers 100% of the financial burden, and that's okay. That's okay to expect. That is okay to lean into, depending on men for their traditional gender role. But we're not just pack mules. We die earlier. There are so many factors that go against men being confined to their traditional gender role. I can count on. I cannot count. I don't know a single man in my entire life who has ever been just. I don't know a single man in my entire life who has been just purely a house husband. There was a movie back in the 90s, Mr. Mom, and the guy was ridiculed. You know, that is not a gender role that is available to men. We are confined to the streets. You know, we are confined to the skyscrapers and to the bridges and to fulfilling our traditional gender role for all of history, and all we expect is women. We could do 50-50. If you want to go out there and work, I want to go out there and work. When we're done working, we come together. That's like kind of a, you know, the way the society is going and the value of the dollar being depreciated, that's kind of becoming more necessary. But if you want me to cover more than my half, then I expect you to cover more than your half in another realm, and that might not be financially. If it's not going to be financially, then it's going to be domestically. You know, we can either have egalitarianism or we can have traditionalism. We're not going to have both. You're not going to get your cake and eat it too. You have to choose how you want this relationship to be, you know, and if it's going to be 50-50, let's do that. But if it's going to be where I protect you and I care for you and I offer you my provisions and I die earlier, and if we get divorced then it's 50-50, then that's what it's going to be. You know, I'm going to expect you to cover the domestic region more.
Yeah, I mean, it's the bad part about it is has gotten to a point where women want men to have 100% of the responsibility, but 0% of the authority. You know, when we talk about oppressing women, I think of a Muslim country where women, you know, can barely dress, like they got to be completely covered up. The United States has never, ever been that, right? I mean, you can go back to prior to the sexual revolution, and I mean, there are pictures of happy families, and there were women that were a lot of, you know, most women, they were very happy with the lives they had at home. So it's just, you know, I'm not sure if it's, you know, and I mean this objectively. I mean, I love women, but I'm not sure if it's in their nature to just take more. But the more we've been given, you know, it's been taken away. But like, there's not a whole lot being given back. You know,
Yeah.
there's disrespect. You know, with that came, you know, women now, they're very confrontational. Like all of us here in person, if we were in person at some place and we're having, let's say, our differences, we know better. Like I know better than to say something to Andrew or Dylan, because if I cross that line, there will be a physical altercation. But women won't, they don't care about that because they know they can call a group of men to come and take you away, right?
Hmm.
So these are the problems that have been, you know, that have come about. And I think, you know, going back to religion, I think it's amazing that somehow, without knowing science, all of them have in common was like, hey man, there's a particular order if we want to thrive.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so this will be our last topic, and it'll be between Dylan and Andrew, and I guess I believe. Oh, yes, we are all single, Cat. Um, and so this will be the final topic. Okay. The final prompt, and Andrew gets to pick this. So we'll go back onto the other side. Oh man. So we'll talk about men's traditional gender role, and the prompt for the final debate is: men have a duty to protect women, even if it means death. So, Andrew, do you which side do you want to debate on this one?
I'll debate the side of women, of men need to protect women, even if it means death.
Okay. All right. Your time starts now.
I believe that men have the duty to protect women because um, we're the stronger species, and even though women are really strong, I've seen women have babies. That's like unbelievable. I mean, they're pretty strong. I mean, it's a couple of my ex, she was amazing. But anyway, when it came to having babies, so I believe that a man, yeah, I know. After I got cleaned out, but I believe a man has to protect a woman. That's just what it is. We have to step up. And even though a woman may uh, put us down, or you're constantly working against hypergamy with them, um, you still have to rise up and embrace your masculinity, and go bigger. And what I mean by that is, I'll give you an example. My ex was a U.S. Marshal. She could run 10 miles. She was very masculine.
Oh, wow.
And so I had to go big when it came to her. Um, and yeah, I would die for her. And so that's just the way that it was. And I believe that any situation that we're faced with as men, we need to step up and rise to the occasion. So, and that's the way God made us. The good Lord put us on the earth to be protectors, and we got to do whatever it takes to protect women. So, or at least our women, and that's what I believe. And that's it. Yeah.
All right. Dillon, you have to. You have to.
It's hard to debate. It's
It,
hard to debate
it,
against
it
this guy.
is.
That's a guy smart, man. Yeah.
Hey, I'll find a freaking way, man.
All
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
Dillon.
Yeah. It's good, man.
Dylan hasn't been married yet, so he got a lot of arguing in him, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
One
fucking
day,
crazy.
one day you live with a woman. All of that, it's gonna your argument is gonna quickly deplete.
Dude,
Yeah.
my
Yeah. You
longest
just.
relationship was, I think, 2.5 years. I've only, like, a quarter of the people I've ever been with in my life, they're all Latino. All right. So I got all the arguing out of me. The last one was Dominican. We're good. We are good. Trust me. And then a Mexican girl. Yeah, we're good, dude.
All right. All right. All right. Your time starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so we're arguing men should be obligated to risk their life to defend women. Well, here's it's tough. All right, well, here's the thing. I don't disagree with men being obligated to give their life for women. What I disagree with is that we're going to mandate it only being to the man as a role that has to be forced upon. And I say that with grace to the situation, because no one man or woman should ever morally be required to sacrifice their life for another person just based off of gender roles. When we do that, we can talk about gender roles. We talked about how men have 4 times more testosterone than women. Hence, we are more inclined to be dangerous, more expressive with anger, also more susceptible to retain muscle mass, which inevitably creates hostilities with other men because of, just pure stature. Like, hey, I'm jealous of this dude, or I'm fearful of this dude. And then because of that, they now compete. And it furthers the aggression and the testosterone in the male species. Therefore, it would make sense, if we think about it, to say, hey, men should be the ones to protect women because we have all these things going for us. Well, to obligate them on a societal level, that's where it becomes a problem. So I'm not disagreeing that we should give our lives for women, but by mandating women to stay on the sidelines and to say, hey, no, don't give your life for me, don't. It's only us. That's extremely morally unjust. And the whole point of if we look at it, the whole point of a society that is effective is equality and transparency. Well, if we start to base survival off of gender roles, that's when it becomes unethical. And I'd like to bring up a point here. We talked about so many different points. We talked about how a man, there's cultural norms of a man being the provider in a family. There's also honor of a man. And that women are physically weaker. Well, physical strength doesn't justify the rule to die for somebody. We've seen multiple times how female athletes conquer over men. We have female powerlifters. We have female athletes who are extremely well at their sport. If you put up, I know some track girls who can run faster than a dude. So I'm telling you right now, she can run faster to catch somebody who just stole my shit. I'm gonna tell her, yo, go run, bro. You got it. But if she's mandated to stay back, now the thief got away. Then what? Hey, that forces you to become more aggressive and faster. What happens if you can't? What happens if you're handicapped, dude? Does that mean you lose your value as a man because you're meant to provide? If we were to say men were the only ones to ever protect anybody and say women don't do anything, what we would be doing is telling men to live a lie. And that lie would be that you are unstoppable. And that creates havoc, as we've seen with supreme leaders, because they were stoppable. But if we come together and we're like, yo, logically, like if we both put our heads together, if I need help, just help me. But don't just stay on the sidelines and watch me fucking die. Do you want to die? I highly doubt that. Just don't stand by the sidelines while my house is on fire. There's tons of female firefighters in the service. So what are you gonna do? Tell them no?
All
No,
right.
in there.
All right. Andrew, would you like to respond for up to 3 minutes?
Yes. Yes.
All right, your time starts now.
Well, I think that we're the stronger, more dominant, and that we're just more dominant than women. And I know society shifted and there's a lot more feminine men now. But realistically, it's time for those of us who are left um, uh, to start helping other men step up and realize that we got to step up and if it comes to dying for a woman, that's what we got to do. And I'm not saying die for a woman that um you're necessarily with, like your wife or whatever, but I mean, if she's with you and she needs you and you have to step in front and do it, we got to step up. And I feel that way about everyone in society, really. If, let's say, for example, um somebody came in, started shooting people with a gun, I think that uh somebody's got to rise to the occasion. And that's just how I feel. And so I feel that way about stuff like that, and I feel that way about women. So I know women are tough these days. Um, that just means we need to dial it up more. And that's me. That's my perspective, and that's my argument.
All
Yeah, we
right.
got man up. Yeah, no matter what.
And Dylan, would you care to make a closing argument?
You know the answer to that, bro. Again, I'm not pro or against any choices.
All right, your 3 minutes starts in 3, 2, 1.
All right, so we're back onto chivalry and we're back onto physical prowess. So again, it's very cool how a man like yourself can say, it's my duty to self-improve to protect other women around me. It's my duty to provide because it makes me a better person. But you're literally built with assets that other people don't have, which is 4 times more testosterone. You are built to dominate, literally, as a male, as your gender in the species of Homo sapiens, right? Which is extremely well for men. where the disconnect here that I think is being missed is mandating that for all men is where the disconnect is, because it becomes unethical when we say all men need to do something. From what we've seen, societies that flourish, they give the task down to the lowest man and they say, hey, fix this shit. And societies that come together, they thrive by distributing the tasks across institutions, and they let the individuals choose. Hence why we have jobs. Hence why we have workforces. They just let the individuals choose, and they get disseminated through leadership and decentralized leadership. In this day and age, especially, the modernized age, we've moved against many traditional aspects of culture and evolution. What we've seen, which is truly fact, what we've seen is that evolution for eating with our hands, we now eat with forks and spoons. Different other evolutionary aspects of life involve like the natural tendencies of like tribalism, aggression. Well, we notice that with aggression, we're killing everybody. Literally, we have cannibals, we kill each other. How do we stop that? Well, we just stop fighting each other. But we're actually built to fight. Hence why we are the superior species on this planet. We killed out all the other hominids, other types of humans. We killed out all those other species. And we ended up being the Homo sapiens that won. But did we stop killing each other on a mass level? Yeah. And we tribalized. But then we got bigger. And then we decentralized. Hence how the United States works on every single industry and government system. Centralized government, yes. But there are leaders in every space. Hence why our military works so well, because we have NCOs, non-commissioned officers, and then we have officers who lead the NCOs, and the NCOs who lead the lower enlisted. No other country has this, which is why they all keep on failing. So with that being said, when we have that stipulation for women to just stay to the side, we end up falling as a whole. Because if that was the case, now that it doesn't take fists and muscles to win, it takes intelligence. That's the key here. Modernity. Maybe that would have worked 100 years ago, for sure. I would agree with you. But because we live in 2025, it's now changed. The ability to shoot a weapon is just your ability to hold up, firm grip, and point. It doesn't take a gender to do that. So if you're telling me it takes a man to kill somebody, you're sadly mistaken, because a person to come into a restaurant with a weapon, a woman can come up, take a gun out of her holster, a firearm, and fire straight dead on, center through the eyes, just like a man can do. Now, can a woman win in a fist fight? Some women can, but most of the time it probably wouldn't happen. We're not barbaric anymore. We're modernized human. And we should start acting like it so we can prosper and further develop.
And time. All right. Well, thank you guys. For.
That was good, man. That was good.
My shit.
That was good,
Bro,
brother.
I hate arguing the bad side.
Dylan, you're good at it, bro. And thank you for your service, by the way, man. You know, you're good at it, though, bro. Heck yeah. Yeah.
Nah, I
both
do
you
believe a lot
guys,
of women
man.
can
All
do
you
some
guys.
crazy shit, though. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen women rough with some crazy pounds on their back.
So,
I've had
so I
women
got.
beat me in races. You know what I'm saying?
I got a. I got a crazy spiritual hypothetical while we're on this topic, and then we can wrap up. If let's say you were married, you were in deep love with a woman, and some mugger came and he tried to get her Coach bag, and you stood in front of him and he blew you away. And you're dead, and you're like watching her from the afterlife. What is the time? Thanks, Danny. If you're in a dimly lit alley, you're madly in love with your wife, and you stand in front of a mugger. He blows you away. You're in the afterlife. how long does she need to wait before she fucks another dude?
As soon as she feels like it, as soon as she's ready.
Like it, bro, I'm dead.
That's what she'll do. You know?
Nah. Like you ain't fucking anybody in this life. Like I fucking sacrificed my life for you to live on, but you're gonna live on in chastity and you're not allowed to fuck nobody. That's the rules here. You know what I mean?
Crazy. I'm gonna haunt you from the afterlife. I'm still dominating, bitch. That's crazy to say, dude.
While
Is
she's
that really
like,
what you think?
not really, but like I do think she should wait at least like a year, maybe even like I want a good year of more. You got to mourn me for a fucking year. I fucking died for
You
you.
want a year.
She's gonna be mourning you when she's fucking Tyrone, just thinking of you, bro.
Dude, when she's walking when she's walking to the bathroom after she fucks Tyrone, I'm gonna hop out of a portrait in his like hallway. I'm gonna be like, you said you would wait, you whore.
So that's probably a real thing, guys.
Yeah,
I
right,
never
bro.
understood that. How that's a good topic. I never understood how people who pass away, who they're dead, before they die, they've had this idea where it's like, hey, I want my spouse to remain celibate for a while and to like cherish me. I never understood that. When you're dead, it's like you're dead. Like you did the most you could to leave your lasting statement. At that point, it's up to you. You can say it's up to God, but at that point, it's up to nothing. You're dead. Like if you believe in God, not saying I do or don't, your judgment is already there. You're not waiting, you know what I'm saying, and watching what's happening. You're good, or you're not good. And it's kind of crazy to say that because they're their own human being. Like if I was a dude and my wife died, um, I'd be with a woman who understands like, hey, when you are gone, I understand that I'd like a partner in this world. I just don't want to be alone. And I loved what we had. However, on to the next because she can find another. She can. It's going to be rare. I can find another her. But the girls
you'd ate her ass.
they're pretty rare too. The girls I look for. I don't just look for any regular chick off the street. So hence why that would be a little harder. Like, you know what I'm saying? So there's kind of like this misconception between what people want and what they're really gonna get. They don't really know what they're gonna get when they start wanting that. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna do what they want. They're their own human being. So why even stress the thought of that?
Mm-hmm.
And it could possibly come into conversation and then worsen that dynamic because it got brought up into conversation instead of just being like, you know what, it's my own desire. Why would I instill my own desire in somebody else and tell them and mandate how they should live their life if it has nothing to do with efficiency for the relationship or society as a whole, like the realm? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah. Well,
Can
go ahead.
No, I just wanted to add something here, sort of like general to the relationship dynamic that we've been talking about, this, that, and the other about men and women. That book, The Evolution, regardless of what we may think that's more appropriate so we can have, nuclear families, this, that, and the third. One of the books, Evolution of Desire by David Buss. I'll never forget one thing from that book that I took with me, and I'll never forget, is that it said that the mere fact that a man and a woman, have been able to stay together for like 40 years is a huge accomplishment because a man's biology and a woman's biology, all the wiring showed that we were meant to get together, to reproduce, raise the offspring, and then part ways. That's what evolutionary psychology shows us. So regardless of what people that are red pill or blue pill may debate what's better, at the end of the day, biology tells us that. So it's sort of that helps us adjust our expectation of relationships. When it ends, some people may feel like shit, but if you know this fact and you were, a decent person in the relationship, you chuck it up to that.
Andrew, did
And
you want to
that's
say something?
yeah, that's kind of exactly how it is. You know, you're not meant you know, I don't believe that you're meant to be with somebody forever.
Hmm.
You know, you just grow apart. And yeah, it happens, man. I was with a woman who I thought would never want to leave, and we just completely grew apart. So, you know, getting back to the part where if you got shot and died there in front of her, you have to remember that women feel, and we operate in logic. So logic tells us that, wow, you know, we don't want anybody to see you for a year. But however she feels is what she's going to do. So, yeah, I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, yeah, I think that as humans we do have biology, but I'm a spiritual person, and I think that you know there's a spiritual component, and you know the red pill might not agree with true love or whatever, but I still am like, maybe it's naive or whatever, but I still believe in like true love, and I believe in like a spiritual connection to a person, and that can overcome, you know, any kind of biological drive that might make you want to, you know, wet your whistle or whatever.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that I kind of knew subconsciously, but I never put into words, and I've been hearing about lately is that men, we don't want love, we want respect.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, because when you talk too much, oh, love, I love, you know, like I've had women, you know, tell me I love you, and then after a while, especially like when you have certain issues in the relationship, you start asking, well, what does that mean then? You know, because like sometimes something could be like a living hell, and you hear I love it. Well, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because one time I read this really old Bible. It was like a Catholic, because like Christian and Catholic Bibles, they're different. The Catholic Bible still kept the books, like all of the books, and the regular Christian, like King James, they withdrew a few of them. And I never forget, I read that chapter in Corinthians that everyone and their grandmother loved to mention, which is Corinthians 13 about love. But I remember on that particular Bible,
Mm.
the word there was no word love, it was the word charity,
Mm-hmm.
which is an action, you know. So I think that stuck with me, and I look at it now, and I think that's, to me, that's what like love means. It's like it's an action, it's a charity,
Mm-hmm.
whether you feel like doing it or not, you do it, and that's it. As opposed to nowadays, it's been preached more of a feeling which you can't really grasp, and you don't know what it means.
Yeah.
That's right, bro. That's exactly right. Love has to be a place that you go to give.
Mm.
That's what it is. It's like charity, right? You go to give. And if you go there to give, you die with no
Yeah,
regrets, or you part with no regrets, right? You
yeah,
love them so they feel free.
yeah.
If you love someone so
Yeah.
they feel free, bro, you can walk away from it,
You know,
and that's how it is, man.
right. And then to add to that, this is one thing, regardless of, and I don't want to make this a gender war or nothing, but regardless of what women say about men, creeps, perverts, this, that, and the third, one thing is for sure. When a man, especially not knowing better of how, women's psychology works, when he's with a woman, what does he do? Everything, everything. Like you have love songs promising the world, sun, moon, and the stars, and much more, right? We'll do that. So, I have to say that, especially like personally and seeing other couples, like men will have a tendency to really show love like that. But then what happens? It ends up being, then he'll eventually become like a simp, and then the relationship has problems, and the woman is like, well, this guy does everything for me, I'm bored of him, and it's done.
Yeah, you got to maintain frame, bro. That's the problem, man, is there can't see when you fall in love with a woman. I was married for 16 years. So you just can't get complacent.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, man, is once you get complacent, you start laying around on the couch, which I've done.
yeah,
Um, they'll freaking run over you, bro, like a freight train.
Yeah.
and you won't even see it coming.
You know, it's funny. So like that book, The Way of the Superior Man. So I went
I've
through.
read it. Yeah.
I was also married. One of the things about that book, and it's like that book. If a woman, a woman hearing about this book, would be like, "Oh, another misogynist." But if she was to read it, they would like it. They'd be like, "Oh my God, this preaches like integrity." The book actually tells men like, "Don't cheat, don't be deceiving, don't do that." But anyways, what I wanted to say is that it tells you to like do what's in your heart, right? So I remember when I was married as well. I remember like wanting to go to the gym, and my wife was like, "No, stay home, baby." Blah 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 blah. And in your heart, I wanted to be at the gym. And I remember reading, and then I remember so many times wanting to go, but wanting to please her. And every time I stayed, there was a fight. And then when I read that book, the book said that you're supposed to do what's in your heart. Because if you don't, the woman picks up that, like, oh man, you couldn't even be a man and do what you want. And then there's the resentment, and there comes the fight. But most men, they don't understand that because it's so counterintuitive.
Right.
And I think that's all about that. That's part of, goes back to the love, to the action.
Right, bro. You got to forge your own way. Even if she wants you to do something else, you got to go do what you want to do. And if she thinks you're going to leave, if she always thinks you're going to leave, she'll stay.
Yeah,
You got to think you're going to leave, though, man.
there's truth
An
to there's a
interesting
lot of truth
point.
to that. Yes.
You brought up, dang, right before you said, she has to think you're gonna leave. Your last point. Can you repeat that last sentence you said?
Well, yeah. If she thinks you're going to leave her,
I think it was Carlos who said it.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's all right. I just wanted to like add on to it because you guys said something and it had to do with a woman wanting you to stay back while you want to go to the gym, and she just wants to cuddle, and she just wants
Right. Yeah.
they said you got to do what's in your heart.
Yeah.
Right.
So let me tell you this. My ex one time, we were talking, and she told me this whole thing, it was about the gym. On the same token that she, kind of hated it, she also said it's the same reason why I'm attracted to you. Right? So it's very counterintuitive. Very. It's yeah.
Wait, this is what it is. Watch. So she will spend the rest of her life trying to change you. That's her changing you. Her telling you not to go to the gym is her changing you.
Yep.
Right.
But she loves you because you went to the gym.
Yeah.
So the day you stay home and don't go to the gym when she asked you to is the beginning of her hating you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They're
it's cutting you loose.
it it's
So
like
I
it's
want to elaborate on that real quick. Hey, go ahead, Chris.
it is a woman's nature to test her man. How is she to know that he is the stoic Herculean block of marble unless she like digs her chisel into him, and she wants to know, is he going to crumble like a glass menagerie, or is he going to stand strong and take the digs of that chisel or that hammer, and it is, so that is their mating strategy, is to figure out whether a man is a man of principle, a man of of fortitude, or if he is a doormat, and if she finds out that he can be manipulated by her, then if he's a silly putty man, she's going to manipulate him and then discard him. But if she finds out that he is a man of fortitude and a man of principle, she's going to grab on like the mountain that he is. And sorry, Dillon, go,
No,
and then we're gonna wrap it up in the next like few minutes.
Okay. I think we're all making good points. Just to clarify, because I'm taking both sides of like devil's advocate here, and if someone was listening to this, they'd probably be like, "Wow, these guys could be pretty misogynistic. Like, what do you mean they don't want to change for their woman? And I want to clarify that. So, as a man, we like to do things that better our lives, better our health. Before we meet a woman, we're obviously going to the gym. Um, if we are a disciplined dude, a lot of dudes aren't. But
Yeah.
if we are and we believe in self improvement, we're not just gonna be ourselves. There's this thing that we all have heard of in MOA. It's called being yourself. What women don't realize, and what men don't realize, but let's talk about women. What women don't realize is that being yourself means being victim to one's natural tendencies at their current state. If somebody likes to drink on the weekends, relax at home on the couch, eat chips, and doesn't work out and doesn't go out at all, hang out with people, do anything in their social life, if being themselves is that, then that's who they're going to be. What sort of woman wants to be with that kind of guy? But if a man wants to become better than that scenario, then they would go to the gym. They get better clothes. They groom themselves better. They clean up their room. They'd work on their finances, get out of debt, build better relationships with other men and women. All these different types of things, just to clarify, that's what not being yourself means. So, just to clarify, we are definitely advocates, and you guys can tell me wrong. I guess I'll just speak for myself. We are advocates for men not just being themselves. You guys need to become better than who you are now.
Yeah.
And as a woman, what they don't see is the development a man has to go through on a constant basis to even get chosen by them. They don't understand that what they ask for is of like the 1% of men or the 4% of men or the 10% of men, because it can vary of what they want in their relationship for as a woman. Some women just want a relationship. That's it. However, a lot of women nowadays want a dude who can provide and pay all their bills, let them relax, chill at home with the kids, and when they're ready, they can get a job and have the option to. But they want the option to. As a man, we need to provide that option, and we understand that, and not mandate it or restrict it, but also be that grounding. Because as a man, there's that foundation that we add to the relationship, that grounding. And then the relationship back and forth, it pivots off of each other during certain situations. But when it needs to have a clear boundary, is that men who don't have clear boundaries, they end up becoming simps. And the definition of a simp can vary to people, but a simp is somebody who's literally just, I guess I'll generalize it, a person who succumbs to every facet of other person's needs without having a clear boundary. That's all. Because when you have that clear boundary, you're able to set your discipline, your calendar, your tolerance for disrespect, what you like in a woman, what you don't like, what you like in fucking food, what you don't like, everything. So when you have that clear boundary, it's like, yo, I need to go to the gym because me being fit is what keeps me sane. So I don't flip off on you. So I don't flip off on people at work. And so I can actually perform just in case I want to go do a sport. Now, what they can do instead, and this is where men really fuck up, they take that as an attack. Instead of thinking how to be codependent, they'll be like, you know what? Maybe I need to schedule my workouts at a different time so I can get that in while still give her time. And that's where that balance lies, that sort of empathetic value. That's not being a simp. Being a narcissist is not, acknowledging her pain and just saying, you know what, it's your fault why you feel this way. No, it's not. It's actually like she's built to feel like this, just like how you would feel if your wife was at work all day. You're trying to get some coon, all right? So you feel that way. You're like, babe, you need to be home. I'm stressed. I need a relief, or babe, I need a hug, and she's not around you. You're gonna feel the same way, unless you're like some alpha red type pill, like who's the dude who died? He was real alpha red pill, black dude. Always dressing in a tux.
Kevin Samuels, my fucking guy. Kevin Samuels.
Bro, if you're about that, just go talk to a tree and cry to the tree and don't let nobody. I'll never forget that statement when he said that shit, and I've always held it to this day. Nobody ever sees me complaining or whatnot. I just go to a fucking tree and I just like, God damn it, bro.
No, buy a dog and die alone.
I had to clear that up because if I was somebody listening to this, I'd probably be like, "Wow, these dudes are misogynistic."
That word. All right. So we're gonna wrap it up. That word gets thrown around so fucking much. And Danny, I'm not a misogynist, and I'm gonna give you the Italian fingers because you gave me the Italian fingers. Danny, I don't think you subscribe to my podcast. You better fucking subscribe if you know what's good for you. All right. Thank you for joining me today, Carlos. Is that your friend Danny, or do you not know who that is?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, well, Danny.
No, that's my friend.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Dillon, tell Danny.
She's watching it in the car with her sister.
Oh, okay. Danny, you and your sister better subscribe to this podcast, and I hope to entertain you very much in the future. Guys, I want to offer my most, heartfelt gratitude for you. Thank you guys all for coming on a Friday night and spending 3 hours with me. This was great. I know I, pushed you out of your comfort zone to take positions and argue for positions and defend positions that you didn't even necessarily agree with. So thank you. It was a pleasure, and I hope to have all of you back another time. I'm very welcoming of my friends.
Yeah,
this was
appreciate you guys.
fun, man. This was fun. I would like to do one where we don't necessarily debate topics that we don't believe. We just pick one, a few topics, and then we kind of, share perspectives, or maybe like react to a video that just became viral and things like that, man.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
I do want to learn how to do the reaction shit because that like I said, I've said it a million times. I'm technologically illiterate, so I don't know how to present the videos. Maybe it's as simple as just sharing my screen on Zoom or whatever. But I'll have to troubleshoot that. And yeah, I would love to do a reaction episode where I just show 20 viral videos and we could all share our reaction for it. But guys, I hope you all have a good night and a good weekend, and I'm gonna go into my outro real quick. Thank you once again. This was a great episode, guys. Yeah. Our next episode is Sunday. Who am I having on? On Sunday, I'm having Moses and Gonzalo. So George, if you're still listening, we're gonna talk about a lot of scripture. We're gonna talk about a lot of that stuff. I have Bible ADD. I suck at reading the Bible by myself, so I need someone to hold my hand as I go through scripture. And Gonzalo and Moses are besides you, George, are two of the most devout Christians that I know. What? I'm Rick James, bitch. Guys, if you want to turn on the notification bell, you can be notified anytime we go live, and you should subscribe. Seriously, Danny and Danny's sister, subscribe. Once again, I want to humbly thank our listeners and pay them ample gratitude. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to have such a high-quality interactive show. So thank you, audience.
So the audience are a bunch of hoes.
Yup.
I'd like to take this time to remind all of our listeners we're spreading like a virus. The Good Faith Podcast is now on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, RSS.com, Amazon Music, Samsung Podcasts, Listen Notes, iHeartRadio, Patreon. On Patreon, we're working to build additional value for the multiple tiers of donors with special content, super chat priority, VIP in-person meetings. We do value your attention, so thank you for quieting your TikTok brain for the last 3 hours. This is a reminder, if you feel you got any value from our show, it takes basically zero extra work to subscribe. It'll move us closer to the goal of having thousands of subscribers, which will bump us up in the algorithms. It'll expose us to more potential listeners. If you guys want to share us with more of your friends, we would be absolutely delighted to extend our outreach. The quickest way for us to broaden our exposure is for you listeners to each share us with one friend. We appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. If you live in the greater Philadelphia area or really anywhere, you want to guest star on our show, want to go on a date with anybody, I'm going to put everybody's Instagram in the show notes so you can follow whoever appears on my show. The Patreon link's in the description. All proceeds will go towards rent, food, electricity, new computer equipment to improve the general show quality, and my cat Clark Kent's medical expenses. He's got epilepsy and asthma and like a heart murmur, so I need to give him phenobarbital 2 times a day, and if he doesn't get that, he will seize and perish, and if that happens, his blood is on your hands. Danny, I'm speaking to you. Don't let my cat die. Subscribe. Pay me money. I need that money. Remember, to all of our faithful audience,
So the audience are a bunch of hoes.
Yup.
I wish you a wonderful weekend, a happy and healthy lifestyle, and to all of you, we bid you goodbye.
Gone. Goodbye. And if you need money, sell rocks. I heard that's what they do around here.